Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. I'm your host, Cooley. Tonight is debate night, and we also got some reactions lined up for y'all. Let's go. And y'all see the suit too, man. Listen, new studio, new podcast, by the spirit, not by the letter. Bro, we can go verse for verse all day long.
Made over.
Doing new things are okay with understanding the reality that we are in competition with one another. But you ladies think that you're special. You are in competition. Men are men of their word. So here's my word. I'll fly you out here and we can do it in person. And after that, we can box. I'm about my business. So remember I said, when I ask you these questions, I will dismantle your entire argument. That's the end of the debate, my dog.
I'm 39, but I don't look your typical 39.
Belly.
Yeah.
You look 39. It's okay though. That man isn't intimidated by a woman like you. He's annoyed by a woman like you. Because a man doesn't want to date another man. He wants to date a woman. All right, welcome back to No Fugazee Podcast. Once again, I am your host, Cooley. Tonight, we do have some debates lined up. It is open panel debate night. So if you want to go ahead and join the stream, click the first link in the YouTube description. We're live on multiple platforms today. We are currently live on the main platform, YouTube, but we're also live on TikTok, both of my Instagram accounts. And then we're also live on TikTok. Well, I said TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Okay, so all, what is that? 4 platforms. So if you want to go ahead and join Open Panel Debate Night, go over to YouTube. That's No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube. You click the first link in the YouTube description, and I'll go ahead and bring you on up. The next link in the YouTube description is going to be for our members. We have 3 tiers. First tier is Gang. Second tier is Hitman. Third tier is Mob Ties. If you like the podcast and you want to continue to support the show and watch it grow, become a member, man. You get all type of different special perks and stuff like that when you become a member, and it's pretty cool. Ask the members. They like it here. The next link in the YouTube description is going to be for a one-on-one consultation. So if you want a consultation with me about dating and relationship conversations, if your chick is withholding sex for compliance and you're like, man, I don't know what to do. I ain't getting none in like 3 weeks. What's going on? That's pretty simple, man. She's most likely cheating on you or about to cheat on you. So you should figure out an exit plan immediately. But anyways, go ahead and click the third link if you need some coaching, man. I got you. I do coach women as well, and I do couples coaching as well. Go ahead and book your consultations there on that link. The next link is going to be for the Clips channel. On the Clips channel, if you do not have time to sit and watch the full 2-hour to 5-hour podcast, subscribe to the Clip channel, man. We post clips on there daily, and you get all of our content. So, and then all the other links on the YouTube description is for the social media accounts. So if you want to get in contact with me or anyone from my team, you want to hit us up on No Fugazee Podcast on IG, or my main account, which I barely check those DMs. There's too many of them. Or you can go ahead and get in contact with us via Facebook, our email. The X account is on there as well. And yeah. All right, chat. So what we got in store for you guys today is a few things to react to, actually. So, CNN, they got their panties in a bunch again, it looks like. And they're crying over slavery and all of this other stuff where it really isn't that serious. So that's going to be the first clip we react to. The second clip is all of the clips from that the members sent us. So I don't even know what those are, but we're going to get into those clips. And if you're new to the show, how we do it is for open panel debate night and reactions. What I do is I react to clips, but in between clips, if you want to go ahead and join the stream and debate me tonight, I'll bring you up in between clips. So once again, the first link in the YouTube description is for open panel debates. Put a 1 in the chat if I'm loud enough. Let me know if I need to turn my mic up. What we got here? We got Wit Kid Dreams. He sends him $5. He says, here is to you, Cooley. Let's have a good show tonight. All haters can ingest what a I don't even know what that means, bro. Stop using white slang with kid dreams. Come on, use some black slang, man. Black slang, bro. Black slang. Nah, I'm just messing with you. What's going on over here in the chat? Chat, I see y'all in here, man. Okay, so the microphone is good. We got some ones in here. Appreciate that. Got a lot of ones in here. All right, so mic is good. Because lately, my mic has been lower than usual. And I'm like, what's going on here? Every time I go live, the volume goes down. But anyways, we got a lot of people on. Let me check the Instagram accounts and make sure we're live on both. Okay, we are live on both IG accounts. If you're tuning in right now and watching me on Instagram, it's not a dating show tonight. It's not me and, 6 to 12 girls on the show talking dating and relationships. Those is like once a month. Usually what I do is I do debates and then I react to content as well. So if you're new to this type of content on Instagram, or even on TikTok, come on over to YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, because it's pretty cool, man. It's Open Panel Debate Night. You can join the show tonight if you want. If you have different opinions or a point of contention with the things that I say, tonight's your time to shine, man. This is why I do these panels. We keep it no Fugazee here, and it's open to the public. So if you want to come on up and get your 15 minutes of fame, because you just a hater or you just share a different opinion, click that link in the YouTube description and I'll bring you right on up. Before we get into the first clip, which is the CNN clip, let me just check TikTok to make sure we are live on there. Okay, we are live on TikTok right now. So everyone that's tuning in on, how many live viewers do we got on TikTok? Let's see. I can't even see. But hey, everyone that's on TikTok right now, if you're tuning in, if you do want to join Open Panel Debate Night, just be prepared to come on over to YouTube. And actually, let me drop the link for you guys on TikTok. Because lately, when I've been going live on TikTok, we get a lot of crazy people that join the stream, man. It be some weirdos sometimes, but it is what it is. Everyone's welcome. I don't discriminate over here. All right, so here's the link for TikTok. If you want to join the stream, if you're tuning in on TikTok, click this link here. All right, yeah, go ahead and click that link there if you're tuning in on TikTok, and I'll bring you right on up. Make sure your camera and your audio is on to join debate night. Okay, so let's get into the first clip for tonight. First clip is, let's see what we got here. All right, let's go ahead and close this out. Here we go.
He's not whitewashing slavery. So
he's not?
He's not. No.
Okay.
He's not. And you cannot tie imperialism and racism and slavery to just one race, which is pretty much what every single exhibit does. But let's talk about the fact that when you
can't tie slavery.
Let's talk about the fact.
Slavery in America was.
Do you realize that only less than 2% of white Americans owned slaves?
But it was a system of white supremacy.
You realize that slavery is thousands of years old?
White people were
Do you know
the slave
who
owners.
was the first race to try to end slavery?
Wait a second.
Well, what's controversial?
I'm very surprised.
This is an extraordinary exercise in historical revisionism.
I'm really
historical
surprised.
revisionism. Do you realize that?
Jillian, I'm surprised that you're trying to litigate who was the beneficiary of slavery and who was not.
So what you're witnessing here from the left and the people that is coming at Jillian Michaels, essentially they're emotional. So she's just putting forth some facts and then they're getting emotional. Like, are you trying to justify slavery? What's going on here? Are you defending slavery? Like, just because I say a fact doesn't mean I'm putting forth a moral claim. Again, just because I state a fact, like I give a descriptor, something that is truth, that is rooted in truth, this doesn't mean that I'm saying that I'm giving a prescriptor, right? So you got, this black woman here and also that other guy pretty much coming at her for just stating a fact. Now, what you can do is you can argue her presupposition. So the things that she presupposes to be true, a logical mind person, they would say, well, the things that you're saying, I don't believe is true. And here's an argument to debunk the things that you said. That's what they didn't do. Instead, they just said, well, oh, are you trying to defend slavery? Are you trying to? No, shut up, you low IQ emotional people. Makes no sense. Let's continue on.
I mean, in the context of American history, in the context of American history, what are you saying is incorrect by saying that it was white people oppressing black people?
Every single thing is like, oh, no, this is all because white people bad. And it's totally partisan.
We don't, first of all, we don't have time to litigate all of this.
Of course we don't, because then you're going to lose the argument. And everything is racialized, just like you're trying to do to me now.
Excuse me?
Okay, all right, this is some dude from the Young Turks, or probably another emotional black guy. But let's go ahead and stop sharing that. Let me share another clip from this, because I don't think that that clip gave the full context. So let me bring up another one. And that clip was a little bit shaky too. I don't know why the quality of it wasn't that good. One second here, chat. All right. I mean, this one could be better on Instagram. Let me go ahead and share my screen like this. All right. So that looks a little bit better. Okay. So I guess after all of this, Jillian Michaels, essentially, she said, pointing out that 98% of American white people in 1860 didn't perpetrate slavery. And in fact, many white Americans died to end it. So, yeah, so pretty much she's replying back like, I'm denigrating all of humanity by pointing this out. Yeah, because, a lot of people, white and black people, I guess, got offended by that fact, pointing out the fact that a lot of white people didn't have slaves. She said 98%. I didn't even know it was that high, and especially like how we were, in, I would say not in elementary school, but, like middle school, when you first start learning about American history, like middle school, high school, the way they teach us in school, bro, it seemed like, nigga, every white person had a slave. It's just like the way they teach it is like, even I thought when I was younger, I'm like, dang, like your ancestors owned slaves, your ancestors owned slaves, all these white people own slaves. But then when you truly look into the history, not those many people, white people own slaves. The majority of white people actually didn't own slaves. And then another wild fact is the first legal slave owner, like when it became legal, like before they were doing it without it being, rooted into law, they were just having slaves. But when it became legal, the first slave owner was actually a black man. So it was a black man that owned slaves. That's crazy, right? So when you think about this, is like stating a fact, giving a truth descriptor about the past does not mean that you are giving a prescriptor, meaning telling people that like this is good. You get what I'm saying? Like, oh, this is how it should be, right? She's just describing how it was. So, and then, a lot of left-wing people, they tend to get a little bit emotional about that. But let's continue on. Let's play another piece of this from Hollywood Unlocked on Instagram.
Imperialism and racism and slavery to just one race, which is pretty much what every single exhibit does. But let's talk about the fact that when you
anti-slavery,
let's talk about the fact
that slavery in America was.
Do you realize that only less than 2% of?
Okay, so once again, she states a fact. She says that like every civilization participated in slavery to some degree. That's just a fact. Then they go ahead. I think the black guy, he gives a rebuttal. He says, well, do you know that, slavery in America was based off of race? We know that difference, but she didn't bring up race at all. She's just talking about slavery. You get what I'm saying? So we can, that's a different topic and a different discussion. We can point out the differences of slavery. For sure, there was some major differences when it came to American slavery. We got to keep it no fugazi over here. They was enslaving people solely based off of race. But then you got to think about it even in other, nations in the past, they were enslaving people. They would enslave their own people. You know what I'm saying? So, and most societies were enslaved at some point in time in history, like the majority, or I would probably even say all. If they wasn't enslaved, it was probably just murdered all off. Like their entire society was destroyed because of war and stuff like that, or famine. But yeah, let's continue on.
White Americans owned slaves.
But it was a system of white supremacy.
You realize that slavery is thousands of years old?
White people were
Do you know
the slave
who
owners.
was the first race to try to end slavery? Well, what's controversial?
I'm very surprised
This is
that
an
you're trying
extraordinary
to.
So once again, they're saying something, she's giving a rebuttal, and one of her rebuttals were, and I'm not even going to hold you, I can't hear them too good. It seems like her audio seems to be just a little bit louder than theirs. I wish I could hear exactly what they were saying. But she then goes on, do you know the first country to eradicate slavery? I think it was Great Britain, or one of the European countries was the first ones. And then America, we were the second ones to totally get rid of slavery, abolish slavery. So I guess she's making that point to say, like, the entire world was practicing slavery. It's not good, but let's point out a fact that, the Great Britain, correct me if I'm wrong, Chad, I don't know if it's, Great Britain, or I know it's one of the European countries, somewhere in the UK, they were the first ones, I believe it was though, they were the first ones to abolish slavery, and then America was as well. So essentially she's saying, like, it was everywhere, but we got rid of it first or second. So it's like, there's many countries that was either racist or practiced slavery, but, out of all of them, we wasn't the worst. Essentially, that's what she's trying to say. And once again, this is still not justifying slavery, because never did she say that it's good. She's only given facts. She only gave facts. So let's continue on.
In historical revisionism.
I'm really surprised.
Do you realize that?
Jillian, I'm surprised that you're trying to litigate who was the beneficiary of slavery and who was not.
What I'm trying to tell you is that
in the context of American history.
Okay.
In the context of American history, what are you saying is incorrect by saying that
it
was white people oppressing black people?
Every single thing is like, oh, no, this is all because white people bad. And that's just not the truth. Like, for example, every single exhibit, I have a list of, you cannot.
Okay, so that's what she's pretty much saying, because that's why she pointed out those facts that 98% of white Americans didn't perpetrate slavery. And I don't know how accurate that is. I didn't Google it, but you know what? We do it live, so I'm about to Google it right now and see if that is true. On social media, when people post stuff, you just can't believe stuff. You got to kind of check it out. So let's see. Okay, so Google says, I typed in, what percentage of white people in America own slaves? It says around 25 to 30% of white households in the South own slaves. Okay, well, that's something different. It says roughly 8% of all white Americans lived in a slave-owning household. So roughly 8% of all white Americans. So, okay, so it is a very, very small portion of white people that lived in, slave households. And then as far as in the South, because once again, we had the Civil War. So, in the South, they were not trying to get rid of slavery. Up North, they were fighting against slavery. And we can say there were many other motivations for the Civil War as well. We're not going to go ahead and get into that. But since we're speaking about this, let's stay right here. So she's fairly accurate. You know what I mean? She's definitely fairly accurate on this. Okay. So give me your thoughts on here. Send in a super chat. Let me know your thoughts on here. If you want to come on up and debate anything on this or give your perspective on this, click the first link in the YouTube description. I'll bring you on up. Once again, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. So if you want to go ahead and join tonight's stream, click the first. You got to go over to YouTube and click the first link in the YouTube description. All right, let's see something here. Need new join link. The one you had doesn't work. Okay. So thank you for that, Wicked Dreams. Let me get you guys a new link. Looks like that one isn't working. I wonder why we didn't. That makes sense because we got like no one coming backstage. Normally we get a few people coming backstage already. All right. I got you, bro. Appreciate the support too. Let's get you guys a new link. All right, grabbing that new link now. And what I'm going to do here is put it in the YouTube description. Then I will pin it in the YouTube comments. One second. All right, link to join stream. Sorry about that. It takes a little while to generate like a new link. All right, so there's a new link. Someone try that link out. Let me know if it works. And I'm also going to put it in the YouTube description. So let me do that. 1 second. And then on TikTok, I got y'all too. Let me give y'all a new link because I did post, I guess, a link that is not working. Wait, what's that? Why don't I see a description on this? It could be, Yeah, there isn't anything. All right, looks like the link is working. Wait, kid, I see you back here. Looks good, bro. Appreciate you. All right, 1 second here, chat. Hunter and Dre, I see you back here, man. Appreciate it. The link is working. Thanks, man. 1 second here. My description just went away. Gotta grab this one. This is what happens when you do a live. But don't be a ninja watcher. Get the likes up. Actually, do this for me now. For all the people in here that didn't like the channel yet, do this for me. All right. And then on TikTok, here's the new link. Link to join stream. There you guys go. On Instagram, everyone that's tuning in on Instagram, I think we got a good amount of people on both accounts. If you're watching right now, you do want to join Open Panel Debate Night. And, you know, if you watch some of my content and you're just like, Cooley, I think you're misogynistic and I don't really agree with your takes, and you think that, you know, your takes are superior than mine, or you can prove me wrong or catch me in a logical fallacy, whatever it may be, or if you just have a different opinion, click the link that's pinned in the YouTube description and pinned in the YouTube comments, and you get to join the stream tonight, man. All right, here we go. Let's get into the next clip. So, quick recap of that clip that you just watched. What you seen was just a lot of emotional black people and emotional white women too, that was indoctrinated by feminism and indoctrinated by just, you know, this, how can we say it? A mindset that is like obsessed with race. They're like race obsessed, which is a little weird. Doesn't mean that race isn't, you know, it isn't important for sure, but you shouldn't be, it isn't that important. It isn't anything you should prioritize. It isn't anything that should be a main focal point. Like, we live in 2025 right now. You know, everybody got the same right and privileges, don't matter what race you are. There's not any law that is discriminating against black people, Hispanics, or anything. I would actually say there's been many more things trying to be put in place, like, you know, DEI, which I was in place. I think Trump is pretty much trying to get rid of all of that. But there's been like affirmative action. There's been many things to try to like correct the discrimination and the racism from America's history. And currently right now, I think that they overcorrected it. And if you disagree with that take, come on up on stream and we can debate. All right, here's the next clip. First, I got too many tabs open. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. All right, what's that? Stop sharing that. All right, here's the next clip we got. So this is one of the clips that the members sent me. And yeah, let me give you my fresh take on it. Let's see what this is about.
Okay, have a seat. Okay, oh my, what? Are you freaking out? Oh my God! What the? She's like, yes, here, hold out your hand. Are you really gonna cry? Stand up, come here, stand up. Let me give you a hug.
So what you're witnessing, I hate the auto-tune that's on the mic. It just sounds stupid. Like if you're doing a concert, and nothing against this guy, I guess his name is Morgan J, nothing against him at all. But I mean, if you're doing a concert or you're performing, doing a show, and you may use auto-tune to sing, bruh, cut the auto-tune off your mic when you're talking to the crowd. It just sounds silly. But essentially what you're witnessing right here is a woman fangirl. She's totally a fangirl. She's totally a groupie right now for this man. Meanwhile, she's sitting with her boyfriend right here. It also says in the comments, because he posted this on his Instagram, he says, shout out to this lovely girl for bringing electric energy to the show. I hope her and her boyfriend didn't get into a big fight after the show. Accepting smooches on the cheek. Okay, so I'll give my opinion at the end real quick. Let's watch a little bit more.
Come here. This is the, oh my God. This. that? Is that your boyfriend? Not anymore. Let's get the fuck out of here. Oh my God.
Listen, even though he joking and even though things are like, you know, it's a concert, it's funny. The thing is, women essentially, like when you have a girl like this, and I'm not speaking about all women, but women do have this, it's something in their nature to like, to be a groupie for a celebrity, to fangirl over a celebrity, to have celebrity crushes and things like that. I'm not saying that this is only for women, but I would say that this is like a womanly thing. Men do this as well, but they don't get any respect. We call them dudes dorks, idiots, losers, simps. Why are you fanboying over, you know, this woman or whatever it may be, this singer or whatever? It's a little weird. It's not saying that you can't show love and stuff like that, but what she's doing is what you would see where if Michael Jackson is having a concert. I don't know if you ever seen like the old clips of Michael Jackson, and homie just come out. He don't say anything. Matter of fact, it's like, it'll be like what is it called? Like, I guess drapes would just, it'll be over his whole body. And then like it'll roll up once they see his feet. So it starts like everything is covered him. And then the drape would come up slow and slow. When a chick see Michael Jackson's feet, they'll faint and cry. Like, so it's like, I've never seen a man do this for a woman. So this has to be a womanly thing. You get what I'm saying? Like, meaning that it's, you know, more, it's like rooted into the woman's biology almost somehow. Not all, but I guess some of them. And it's very weird that they'll like fangirl and become a groupie and cry and get so emotional because they're face to face with the celebrity or the person that they listen to every day over their headphones. So it's a little weird. But anyways, what I wanted to say, as a man, if I was in his position, and this is the thing, like, we need to put women in their place. As masculine men, we need to, this is what we do. The patriarchy, there's an order to things. So even when women get out of order, it's a masculine man to put her back in order. And this would be the thing. So if I was in his place and I was singing up there and talking to the crowd, and this woman got all groupie love, but I see that she was with another man, I would be like, stay with your man, and I would move on and start speaking to someone else. Even though this is funny, it's entertainment, we're all laughing about it now, but homie isn't laughing about it. He's definitely crying about it still right now. I don't think he broke up with her, because any man that is in a relationship with a woman like this that's going to fangirl over another man, like she has that in them, this would say that she really doesn't respect her current man. And if she doesn't respect her current man, she is the one that's on the pedestal, right? He's the one admiring her, and she's like looking down on him, which would essentially mean, if we go to the logical conclusion of this, it's a high probability that even after she humiliated him and disrespected him by hugging and kissing on another man at a concert, he still accepted her. Oh, baby, it's okay. I love you. I know you've never seen Morgan J. You've never seen Michael Jackson. You've never seen Drake. I know it's, go ahead and get your picture with Chris Brown. It's okay if he squeezes on your booty. It's okay. Some guys is just simps. Some guys, they don't have no self-dignity or self-respect for themselves. So they allow their women to run all around them and run the relationship. And normally when that happens, the woman runs the relationship to the ground. She ends up breaking up with him. Because like, a woman can't really respect a man if you just allow her to do anything, if you have no boundaries. How can she really respect you if you have zero boundaries for her? It's like, well, I get to do whatever I want. My man isn't going to say anything. I don't respect this nigga. Let's continue on.
Oh my, go sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Go sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit, have a seat. What?
Oh, it got worse. I didn't even see that. He was telling her to sit down, and Shorty went in for the smooch. She went in for the kiss like, no.
Okay, have a...
And the thing is, she went in for the kiss that was going to be on the lips. Listen, dog, this dude, if he doesn't break up with his girlfriend, listen, man, she definitely has, this is the type of woman that has a work boyfriend. She has I'm going out with my girlfriends, and she has this side nigga boyfriend. Like, the dude that whenever she's going out with her homegirls, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going out with my friends, I'll be back. She's really going out with her friends, but calling Tyrone, and he's like meeting her and her friends somewhere, and her friends keep it a secret, and he like clapping cheeks some like during the club or during the bar while they're out to eat. She has many guys around her, and he's just the simp that she's feel comfortable with and she settles with because the other guys really don't want to take her seriously. The other guys that she allowed to smash her, it's like, well, they just hitting it and quitting it. But he's the only one, he's the simp, he's the only one that wifed her. You don't want to be that guy.
See, bro, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, dude. That's going on TikTok.
Yeah, he know that's going on TikTok. And the crazy thing is, you'll get like some liberals, you'll get some feminists to say, well, nothing is wrong with that. Like the girl, she just has like a celebrity crush. Like she's a fan of this artist and she went out to a concert. Like nothing is wrong with that. If she wants to hug and give, the guy that the musician, because they won't say the musician that she listens to every day, a kiss on the cheek, like that's so harmful. Let her do that. Meanwhile, everybody in their right mind know that is wrong. This is why he posted this. Like, I know the boyfriend is definitely probably mad. They definitely was fighting.
What's going on TikTok, bro?
Oh,
bro,
homie done gave the dude a dap. This is how you know. This is how you know he didn't break up with her. Because this happened, when was this posted? 2 weeks ago? So it was posted 2 weeks ago. So let's just give it this entire concert. Let's just say it happened a month ago. Let's give it another 2-week grace. Let's say this happened a month ago. He's still with her right to this day. He did not break up with her. Homie just hugged your girl kissed homie, and then homie gave you a dap and you dapped him up? Oh, man. He's the type of dude that'll just let someone smash his girl and be like, oh, you done? Man, shouts out to you. He'll probably dap a homie up after another dude smashes his girl. This is crazy. What is the world coming to? But people aren't dumb. Even a whole crowd know that it's like, yeah, that's crazy. And even a musician is there like, I can't believe a chick just did that with her boyfriend.
Got a lot of thinking to do tonight.
Yeah, you can see it was it was about to be on the lips. Let's bring that back real quick. Play it slow. Yeah, she was going in for the lips, man, and he turned his head that way. That's wild. She for the streets. She is for the streets. All right, let's go ahead and stop sharing that. Man, that was funny. Get the likes up in the chat. We got more clips to react to. We got some people backstage we're going to bring on up for open panel debate night. And let's go. And I'm trying to read the Instagram comments too. Someone says, is he supposed to crash out? No, the homie isn't supposed to crash out. Like, what I'm saying is, as a man, there's things, you're supposed to have boundaries. So there's things that you're supposed to be intolerant of. So let's just say put it like this. If you're in a relationship with a girl, and in order for your girl to fangirl over another man, like a musician or any type of celebrity, or even like in order for her to have the audacity and the thought and that desire to desire another human being in such that way where she would never desire you, this would only mean that the relationship dynamic is in a way where she likes you less and you like her more, meaning you like her more than she likes you. And when you're operating from that dynamic in a relationship with a woman, it never works, because essentially what you're doing is pedestalizing a woman. And women have this natural propensity that's in them from a biological standpoint to want a man that can lead them. This is why they look for, financial stability in a man. We don't really care about financial stability in a woman. You know what I mean? So meaning that women want a man that can protect and provide for them. They want security, right? So the fact that she's acting like this with you while you're out at some concert is crazy, man. It's bogus. It's crazy. That means that she doesn't respect you, bro. This means that you've been pedestalizing her too much, or just pedestalizing her at all. Whatever you're doing, she's looking down at you, and she doesn't really see you like that, man. And even if we go from a biological level, most men are taller than women anyway. But women want a man, if you ask them, most women would want a man that's taller than them, so they can look up. Oh, I want a man I can look up to. And if you break it down on a very, micro level and more of a psychoanalyzing this level, it's like, well, she wants the man to be taller for many reasons, for security, like he could protect her more, but also it's like she feels small in his arms. This is the person that she's admiring. There's many different reasons on why the woman would want the man to be taller. But this dynamic of the woman looking up at you, inadvertently what you do is, even if you're taller than her physically, if you pedestalize her, meaning that the attention that you're giving all the time and you're like worshiping her, it will be different. Even though she's shorter than you, she's looking up, but it's really like she looking down. Because she's the prize. It's like, for what? Makes no sense, man. So don't be in that position in your relationship, man. You'll be cruising for a bruising. All right, so we got some people backstage. Let's bring some people up. Chat is fine. Eat it. Favor. No. This girl is. Okay, I see what you're saying here. Commentary, I'll go ahead and bring you on up. Let's see here. Welcome to No Fugazee Podcast. State your name. Where you from?
Hey, I'm a commentary king, and originally from Louisiana, but I'm residing now in Houston.
Cool. You had a take on that. I seen you hit me in a private chat. You want to say it?
Oh yeah, yeah. So the guy, you gave him a dap. Hey, here it is. I have a little bit of different perspective. He's thanking the guy because that gentleman, whoever he was there with his girl, now knows how this woman is. He may not. This may be the first date. They may not. I just tuned in, so I didn't catch some of the backstory. But just imagine you're on a date with a woman. You don't really know, maybe first or second date, and she's doing all that stuff. Well, this guy just saved you a lot of time and discovering, what she's willing to do for a little bit of celebrity crush, in public in front of you. So that's the way that I look at it. And, he kept himself composed so he can, at the end of the day, hey, you know what? This is not going to work out. And if she's wondering as to why, even better reason to not even further discuss it. But yeah, I think that's that was terrible. I feel sorry for the guy, but that's how it is.
Yeah, I would say that, to the fact that the musician asked, "Is this your boyfriend?" and she said, "Yeah." I mean, that would take away the point that they just met. As far as how he should react, I don't think there was anything wrong with his reaction. There's no reason to get emotional and to get upset if your woman is like that. The point that I'm making is that he already knew his woman was like that. Like, come on, if that's she confirmed that that's her man. They're in a relationship. then he already knew from the door his woman was like that. Because if you're in a relationship with a girl, it's like, oh yeah, we about to go to this concert. She's probably like, wow, we're going to see we're going to see Drake. We're going to see Drake. And if she's hyped like that to see Drake, it's like, matter of fact, we're not going to see Drake no more. Like, you just should change it. Like, yeah, matter of fact, we ain't going to see Drake. We finna just go out to eat. I'll take you somewhere else afterwards. Like, so he knew his girl would be this much of a groupie to this other musician is just crazy, man.
Oh, maybe, man. That's I mean, if I knew that and she could possibly embarrass me, we wouldn't go anywhere. That's too much.
Yeah. And not only that, I'll take it a step further. If I knew that my shorty like was a fangirl over another man, I gotta just break up with her. I gotta break up with her. And it's not to say like I could say like this. It's certain points in a relationship. So if you first meet a girl, she could have some like celebrity crushes, but as the relationship goes on, it's like you shouldn't even be like thinking about another man or anything like that, or being a groupie for a musician or an athlete or anything like that. So it just gets a little bit weird. Real quick, we got Mike Young. He says, "Hey, Cooley, have a short clip for you." Okay, Mike Young, send it in to No Fugazi podcast. But while I got you up here, Commentary King, something you wanted to debate about tonight.
Actually, yeah, I wanted to debate, and I wanted to kind of comment on something. The racism and the slavery topic has always been funny to me. I know, at least for me, growing up in the South, in Mississippi and Louisiana, it was always obligatory for all Black folks to just sort of blame everything on racism. I always found that very strange, since a lot of the stuff that people are talking about isn't actually directly related to slavery. In fact, happened hundreds of years after, such as, I would say, post-Reconstruction, with like stuff like redlining, for instance. And so if you want to talk about the systemic issues that exist that keep Black folks poor and out of certain financial institutions and stuff like that, there are things that have occurred in history, but they're not direct results of slavery. And so that was one of always the hot button topics that I guess as a Black person, you know not to question too much, not to at least openly question too much, because there's so many people that simply defer to it. And I think it actually does a disservice to the discussion, because it just seems like, I'm just going to say it, just seems like excuse making. Like it's like none of us were slaves. And people even today will say, well, we were slave. No. Our ancestors were slave. They were enslaved. We were not. We didn't even experience Jim Crow. So you could say the effects of some of that stuff somewhat still persist to this day, but having a ham-fisted sort of, narrative just to throw out there and expecting other people just to fill in the context, I think just does a great disservice. So I just wanted to add on to that. If people want to talk about the topic, let's talk about it at length, in its proper context, in the proper time frame, and not just these lines that you hear growing up. But I did want to ask you,
sure.
Trump's back in office, right? DEI has been removed, and that's from the military, from everywhere. We see rollback of protections for trans folks, and I can tell you a lot of the people on the left that I still have on Facebook and all that are very, very upset. And that is one. Yeah, I still want to have that flat earth debate if you want. And one of the things that I pointed out to them,
S&G drizzle, but okay, go ahead.
But one of the things I pointed out is that, well, people are burned out and tired of just the vitriol being thrown at them, and that if you have certain policies that you're trying to implement that are discriminatory, that nobody's going to back that other than the people in your really niche and insular faction. And so I would love people to have protections for themselves in the workplace, but it should not come at the expense of others. So for me, I want to sit down and talk to people that I disagree with to see, how do we move forward? How do we move forward with people who are conservative versus liberal, and say, how can we commensurate somewhere and find a compromise? Say, look, you don't have to get gay married or endorse trans folks, but you know what, they shouldn't be, harassed in public or any of that type of crazy stuff. How do we move forward from here?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like when we speak about these things on, like maybe bullying and harassment is different, but bullying can be a form of harassment as well. So it's a slippery slope there. But when we're like speaking about these things, and the left is so sensitive, like, we should, I would say from my worldview, we should be getting rid of, the whole rights for LGBTQ plus. And what rights essentially do they have? I know the one right is to get married, same sex marriage. And then I'm sure there was other little things during the Biden era, in the Obama era, where, you can take certain medicines as a child, or, you can cut off your puberty blockers, or you can cut off your genitals. Like there's certain medical procedures that's legal. I would say we should get rid of all of that, because that doesn't even make any sense. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, well, I woke up today and I think I'm a one-hand man. Can you please cut off my other hand? It's like, it's just stupid. So I truly think we should get rid of any type of rights that they have. Those extra stuff, like, that's just dumb. Because think about it. I'll say this. Say if someone went to a doctor and said that, I do not identify as a woman. I am a heterosexual man, but I do not want my wang hair anymore. Can you please cut this off? I'm not trans, but I just don't want it here. Every doctor gonna be like, no, if you don't identify, like even during the Biden era and the Obama era, even when I think these things were legal in certain states, when it came to surgeons having the ability to, enact these procedures, I think that even those surgeons would be like, oh, no, you don't qualify because you're not trans. So this would mean that it's dumb. It's dumb to do just because someone has this mental illness. Well, they have a mental illness. Now they can self-mutilate. Now they can cut off their limbs. You know what I'm saying? So all of these little type of rights, I think we should get away with it, do away with it. Even a same-sex marriage, I think we should do away with it. When it comes to the conversation, well, if they can't get married and this, well, we have to stop bullying and stop shaming. It's like, well, that's just getting in between free speech. And that's a conversation we should have, because I think that, people talk crap about me online every day. There's no law to protect me. So what's going on here? But what's your perspective on that?
So I think that for me, I'm big on freedom. I'm big on the government shouldn't have to tell you everything to do and shouldn't have control over every little, minute aspect of your life. If there's somebody out there and they feel like a woman and they want to, go all the way and dress and all that, as long as you're not impeding on somebody else's rights, as far as I'm concerned, go for it. That's fine. Your name is John. You want to be Sally? Have at it. There's tons of other guys out there that will pay for that surgery and pay for you to do that role. And that's cool. That's them. That's me personally. When it comes to
so then you're getting taxpayers to pay. Okay, break it down. Go ahead.
If you, let's say I'm, a staunch Christian, I don't believe in that type of stuff. You know what? I understand them not wanting their tax money to go to it. But if somebody has the money, they have the resource, they have the sugar daddy with strange taste, if that's what they want to do with their body, I'm all for it. Because at a certain point, if you can tell these people what they can and can't do with their body and they're consenting adults, where does that stop then? If you're the government and you can come in and say, yeah, no, I don't want you to be able to do that. Well, then the second an administration gets into power that you don't agree with, what type of things can they then go with that type of precedent in place?
Got it. So here's where we would have a point of contention with. Here's where we would have a disagreement. So question for you. Essentially, you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong. Essentially, you're saying that you're not for, people giving their tax dollars for LGBTQ and, self-mutilation or whatever they want to do with their bodies, because this may not adhere to someone's ideology. So they shouldn't be forced to give their tax dollars to something that they do not agree with. I get that. But then the other point is, are you saying that, well, I would ask you this first before I get into that. Then how would they get these procedures done if it would have to be legal for the doctor to cut off a man's penis?
Right. It's a cosmetic surgery. Yeah.
So cosmetic surgery. So we would have to make this cosmetic surgery legal.
Correct. And it actually gets performed. The stuff that needs clearance and stuff like that, the puberty blockers that you were talking about for minors, that's something that even I'm still sort of reading about that. I personally don't agree with that. I'll tell you right now. But as far as an adult wanting to perform a cosmetic surgery on themselves of that nature, that's just a matter of a consult and a credit card. That's it. And
so when it comes to cosmetic surgery, when we're speaking about cosmetic surgery, you could say like, all right, when did cosmetic surgery start? What was like the first surgical procedure? It could have been lip injections. It could have been some cheekbone injections. It could have been even, some things. If you get burned and they do some cosmetic surgery for your burn. The burn, I would say that makes sense for cosmetic surgery. But anything else, if you are trying to or if you have if you're born with like the cleft lip, you know what I'm saying? Things like that, some cosmetic surgery, like, so your disabilities and also physical injuries, cosmetic surgery to me makes sense, right? It's like this should be legal for disabilities because you were born some way, or you had a physical injury, got burnt at a job, or you fell or broke something. Cosmetic surgery makes sense. Anything else would be for pleasure. Anything else essentially would be for the individual getting this, not for the benefit or the health of their body.
It's vanity.
It would be for vanity, right? So then, okay, when we're speaking about vanity, because we have to draw a line on something here, right? So when we're speaking about vanity, people trying to enhance their beauty, well, it has to be a line here. All right, we got chicks getting lip injections. We got people getting the Brazilian butt lifts and they're getting their body done. Chicks getting the fat from her stomach, put in their butt. They're getting a lot of stuff done. But then if it's like, okay, well, you're for a man wanting to cut off his wang, like transition to a woman and cut off his wang, cosmetic surgery, and make this tuck it and make it a vagina. You would be for that.
Yeah, I'm for whatever they want to do to their body. It doesn't matter if they want to, attach another arm to it, and be a circus freak, as long as they got the money and they consent to it and it's safe. Yeah, that's on them.
All right. That's and then my question for you. Why don't you draw a line? Why would you be for that?
Because, like I said, I'm about freedom. As long as there isn't how can I put this? As long as the person can consent and pay for it, the government should not come in and impede people, because that sets a precedent. Because if so, okay, hey, we go hypothetically, you know what? Having the sex transition surgery, that's no, we're going to stop that. No. Why? Because we as an administration say we don't want that for you as a government. Great. So then where does that stop? You know what? We think BBLs are now too much. Okay, well, we'll stop BBLs. Okay, you know what? Anyone getting their lips enhanced too, because we've already done that. Let's go ahead and stop that as well. You know what? Matter of fact, no cosmetic surgery unless it is strictly for medical reasons that are linked to an injury or illness. Okay, so nobody, even if you feel that your nose is exceptionally long and there's a deviated septum, you know what, that you can still breathe, fine, we'll stop that. I don't want that to then begin. That. Yeah, so that's the issue that I have with that, because if you have the money to enhance your body, just like think about what's the Jenner one that was married to the rapper, a bunch of them. I think it was Kylie Jenner. Before and after, she understood how she looked before surgery, and all of us see how she looks now, right? And that's the body that she wanted, and she has the money and resources. Why is the government going to step in and tell her that she can't do that? And the same,
got it.
If this dude wants to do that, that's on him. I don't have to see it.
Got it. So my logical reason for, and what I want from you is like a logical reason or a moral reason for why you don't really have a threshold, like why you don't draw the line somewhere. You're just like, well, if they want to do this with their body, if they want to cut off their left arm and stick it over to their butt, you would be for that. You said that there isn't a line.
There's a line, but if they can pay for it and if they can consent, that's my line. That's my line.
So the line is age and if they have the money. Well, they wouldn't be able to get it done if they don't have the money. So, okay, so your line is as long as they're of age, 18 years old, that's the age?
Yeah.
Okay, so as long as they're 18 years old and they have the resources to fund the procedure, you don't care what procedure they get done. And your reasoning for this is you haven't really gave a reason like why this would be okay, why it would be good. What's your reasoning there?
That because I don't want to set a legal precedent so the government can then come in and tell people what they can and can't do with their body.
Okay, then my rebuttal to that, we set many legal precedents all the time, and the government comes in and they tell people what they can't do, what they can do and can't do with their body, like for offing yourself. It's illegal to try to murder yourself. If you are on the edge, standing on a cliff, cops will come and try to save you, even though you're like, listen, the cliff ain't that high. I don't think I'm gonna die, but I'm just trying to wreck my body. They will come and save you. So we do have like things in place in the law that we don't just allow people to do anything. You know what I'm saying? So you seem to be like drawing the line, like there's no line drawn, but age but for money. My question is, like, how would it be good? Like, we know that offing yourself isn't good. You get what I'm saying? We know that even when people like cut themselves, like they wanted them, call them white chicks always do it. I don't know, not just white chicks, but people.
The cutters,
The cutters, they cut themselves. If they even go to school or if they're even at their work and if it's reported, cops would come and say, hey, like, let's try to get them some help. So like authority would step in, some legal matters would step in to try to get this individual some help so they can stop cutting themselves. But there's nothing to like stop people to get the man from cutting off his penis. So like, how do you reconcile that?
So I don't think that every single issue has a moral sort of quandary about it. If I were to ask you your favorite flavor of ice cream, is there a moral argument that you can make for that preference? I don't think so, right? So
yeah, but we're talking about people. Morality would be attached to people.
Right. So if I ask you your favorite skin tone of woman, is there a moral quandary attached to that?
No, there wouldn't be a moral. I don't think that morality is within everything, but we can make it a moral argument if you wanted to, but that's not what I'm asking for.
Right. That's the point that I'm making though, but there is none here. For if there's an adult that has sound mind that says, you know what, and that's debatable when they're trans, I guess. If you say, look, I have the money and the resources, I want you to flip me inside out with this part of my body. And I want to then live my life as this and not impede upon anyone else's rights. I don't see where there's a moral argument where I could make to stop this person from doing what they want to do with their own body.
So then my rebuttal to that is why currently right now is it illegal to off yourself? Why currently right now, if you are a cutter cutting your wrists, and if someone sees that and reports it, authorities would come and try to get you the proper help. Why do they do this to try to save your life? Why do they do this to try to help you? Obviously, they're trying to help you because they know that what you're doing is, they would think that it's bad. So this morality would come into place, because if we're speaking about, well, what's good and what's bad, it's a moral argument, right? So why in some cases, it's illegal to harm yourself, but in other cases, in your worldview, it would be like, I think people should just do whatever they want as long as they can consent and have the resources to pay for it. So, well, but you're not for people committing suicide, like offing themselves, right?
No. So if we're talking about cutting and suicide, those two, the motivations and the result of those actions, both come from very different places than someone getting cosmetic surgery. And the cutting incidents. So
we're speaking about the issues of the self-mutilation of cosmetic surgery, like the man cutting off his wang and tucking part of it to make it a vagina, or the woman trying to do something to give herself some balls and a wang. Maybe not. I don't think they can get balls, but give them a wang or something.
Technically, any surgery is mutilation. Every single time you go under a knife, for no matter what the reason, it's mutilation, even circumcision. So if you are saying that, hey, we know that suicide is bad because it results in the death of the person. You can no longer make any choices. You can't go back. That's it. That stems from an altered mental state where your inherent self-preservation has been turned off for whatever reason. When cutting, that's a release of tension and pressure and anxiety and all these other, again, mental issues.
So what's the justification for a man wanting to cut off his penis?
So them doing what they call the gender affirming surgery and stuff is associated, again, with a certain pathology. But in this case, it is to, what in their mind, correct what was gone wrong in their biology. But there is no.
Okay. So I can make the same argument, though. Right. I can make the same argument. If I'm a cutter, I'm trying to correct the things that's wrong in my mind. Because before I wasn't cutting myself, but when I cut myself, I feel better and it helps me out. It helps me with my anxiety. It helps relieve depression. I think that it's beneficial for me. Like if I can describe all the things, how it would help me in my life, then who are you to say to have the state to come in to stop me from cutting myself? Who are you to say to have the state to come in to stop me from offing myself, if this would essentially what would make me happy to not be alive or to have all of these cuts on me? We can make that same argument that you're making for transgenderism would be the same argument that a cutter could make.
Right. So if we're comparing the cutting, right, to the transition surgery, right, there is a clear destination and goal with the transition. There's a point A and a point B. With cutting, there is none. There's simply the act that's being performed in order to continuously relieve this pressure that's building up. There is no continuous surgery. There is no continuous maintenance or anything after that in order to sort of put a Band-Aid on the issue that is at hand. And that's how both of them are qualitatively different from one another, is because they're not going to keep going back to that surgery and keep having it done at all.
Well, I would totally disagree with that, because there's many people that do cosmetic surgery that it's never enough. A woman would get her, let's just speak about the man, he would cut off his wang. Well, that wasn't good enough. Then he would get breast implants. So that wasn't good enough. Then he would get like some fake hips and that wasn't good enough. Then he'll get a fake butt and that wasn't good enough. Cut the nose off. That wasn't. It would keep on going and going. You know what I mean? So it can be it could continue as well. And I could even make the same argument. Like, let's say if the man that's transitioning he stops after cutting off his wang. He's like, I'm good now. I don't need the breast implants. I don't need nothing. But let's say if the person that was cutting the wrist, let's say if there's like, you know what? I just want to just, cut it for a month and then I'm gonna stop. The same amount of time that it takes for the man that cut his wing off to recover, which could be like, 6 months or maybe a year. That's the same amount of time that woman is gonna slice her wrists. Are you okay with that?
No, not at all. Because one is
why not?
One's the actual medical procedure that's overseen by a doctor, and the other is something someone does in their bedroom because they're mentally ill, right? I think there's a huge difference between something being done.
You're making a presupposition that one has a mental illness and the other one doesn't.
That they could actually, they both, you know what? They both could be mentally ill. You're correct on that. Both of them could actually be mentally ill. Unless I'm willing to actually grant you, both of them are mentally ill. But would you say that procedures done in someone's bedroom is the same as a procedure done in an actual medical facility?
No, I
Overseen by a
wouldn't say
doctor?
that.
So
No, I
there
wouldn't
is
say that.
so there's a
But I would
qualitative
say that
difference.
if the person is a nurse and they've done procedures many times and they have the skill set to do it, if they're certified, I would say that well, then that would be the same. You get what I'm saying? But, I would say that generally speaking, if we're looking at it, most people that's cutting their wrists or that's cutters, they probably don't have a medical background. So yeah, there is a difference there, but it doesn't mean that this person that is a cutter can't have a medical background and wouldn't have the same capabilities of making sure they're cutting themselves in a way where they're not going to like off themselves.
Yeah, I think that's sort of a big difference that I don't think we could really overlook. That you have a medical plan and procedure overseen by a physician versus someone that may have a medical background of some sort, just doing it because they are suffering from some type of mental ailment. And I think that we can't really simply overlook that. And again, it's if that's person is if that's what they want to do, right? This is their body, then have at it. If somebody is cutting right now, seek mental help. If you're thinking about cutting off your thing line, I would hope that you would seek a consultation before you do that, because
Okay,
that's not
so
something that I think is normal at all.
Okay, so all right, here we go. Now you're putting out some more information. So it's something that you don't think is normal. Because remember, you said that it wasn't a moral argument. Like we don't have to, but due to the fact that you're saying that, well, you think that people should seek out help, this would explain that it isn't in their best benefit, which would mean that it's not necessarily good for them and it's more leaning on towards something bad for them, which means that you would believe that it's immoral. It's not morally right for them to cut off their wang. So since you would believe that it's not morally right for them to a man to cut off his wang, why would you be okay with as long as someone is 18 and they have the money to do it? Why would your morals still put it? What I'm saying is, how can you justify that morally if you think it's wrong? Like, how can you justify it morally for them to do it if you think it's wrong? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
So when I say normal, let me add some context to that, as in something that is commonly done, a common procedure like a circumcision. That you'll see any medical facility that has neonates will perform circumcisions. Very few of them will actually perform this cosmetic surgery.
Yeah, but I know we can speak about the word normal, and that's fine. I know you can try to justify normal, but you said that you think that they should seek out medical help.
Absolutely.
And okay, so why should they seek out medical help? You would be insinuating that that they're not in the best state of mind. And then you also conceded, and you said that you do consider people that want to transition and go through transition surgery, you consider that to be a mental illness.
I think a lot of them are mentally ill, just like people who aren't going through that type of procedure. I would hope that every single person who is seeking any type of surgical procedure would seek a consultation of some sort, especially of this nature.
Got it.
Absolutely.
So what I'm asking for is this. If you think something is immoral, which you do, you haven't explained to me yet how you don't think is immoral, right? If you think something is immoral, which means that you're actually intolerant of it because you think it's immoral, why would you make a prescription to be tolerant of it? Like your prescription for it to be legal, and as long as they have the money and they're of age, then you don't think the government should get involved. You think that they should have the ability to go ahead and transition.
Right. So that's, like I said before, my issue is not necessarily a moral one. It's more so of a legal one. If we allow the government to tell us what we can and can't do with our bodies as adults, then that will then lead later to them saying what else we can and cannot do with our bodies. That's sort of where my entire argument hinges upon. I personally don't plan on ever doing that to myself, and I would hope my son wouldn't want to do it to himself either. But at the same time, having the freedom to be able to choose what you do with your body is one of the great aspects of our culture, our American culture, unlike other countries. And so if that's eroding away just with silly as this, then that just sort of opens the door later on.
Okay, you cut out a little bit there, but I think I got the gist of it. I think I got the gist of what you said. Okay, so your argument, you know that it's morally wrong. You wouldn't never transition. You wouldn't want your son to do that. You know that it's immoral, but you wouldn't want the government to legislate this to be illegal because you think that us having basically bodily autonomy is more important than things being right or wrong. Do I have that correct?
No, I think it's amoral, not immoral, amoral.
Okay, so you would think it's amoral, meaning that it's not, so amoral is like, that is what it is, correct?
Simply, it is. It's just like a hurricane. A hurricane is neither moral or immoral.
It just is.
It simply is.
So, all right. Well, now the plot even thickens. So you think that, well, how do you reconcile that if it is what it is, that then, that really doesn't make any sense because you know that they want help. I think you're trying to make a cop out here so you don't get yourself into a pickle. Look. Nah, that didn't make any sense. So look, how can you think that it's amoral? I mean, it is what it is, right? Because if things is what it is, if it's thundering, it's like, oh, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's raining. I can't do nothing about it. Things that are amoral, we kind of look at it like it is what it is. But you don't look at this thing like it is what it is because you wouldn't do it and you wouldn't want your son to do it. So I don't think you truly look at it amoral, bro.
No, absolutely. I have a preference. I don't think it's so. I absolutely have a preference for or against it, right? But do I have a moral argument to attach to it? Absolutely not. I don't want my son going through any cosmetic surgery. Honestly, it doesn't matter what it is, and it's certainly not that one, right? I want him to value, what I gave him. But it is simply there are some people out there who, for whatever reason, feel that they were born in the wrong body. Okay, cool, great. That's on you. So as an American citizen, you have the money, you have the right to get whatever cosmetic surgery you want. I think personally, BBLs is the most ridiculous thing walking around right now. And they're way more prevalent. But I would not dare advocate for some type of legislation to stop women from going to go get it because that's their bodily autonomy. And I don't want
their bodily autonomy.
I don't want to take away from that because we're not talking about they're not putting
and you're justifying the bodily autonomy as long as it's a medical procedure by a doctor that has a certificate in this. And as long as they can pay for it and consent to it. So these three things, then it's justifiable in your worldview.
And in this cosmetic surgery examples, yes.
In these cosmetic surgeries, yes. But once again, when we had the discussion and we map on this to other things, you don't seem to be for it. Like for cutters and for people that want to off themselves, you don't seem to be for it.
Because those aren't medical procedures.
Okay, so the only reason is because it isn't a medical procedure.
Absolutely. That's the biggest difference between someone like anybody can cut themselves, right? But a surgeon cutting you on an operating table and someone cutting you in the bathroom of a club are dramatically different things.
Okay. What if the surgeon is a cutter? Is that justified?
If he himself is a cutter?
Yeah.
If he himself is a cutter and he's simply doing these surgeries because he just, I guess, malicious, then that's malpractice and he needs to be sued. Yeah, absolutely.
So look, look at that. So it's a contradiction there, right? It is a contradiction. I'll explain how it's a contradiction there. Because in one sense, it's, these three things, as long as it's a medical procedure, the person is certified, as long as they are of age, and as long as they can pay for the procedure, then this is justified. I don't take anything from it. But then when I ask the hypothetical and I say, if it's the case that the surgeon is a cutter, he can give consent to himself, He can pay for everything himself because he's doing it himself. If it's him that's operating on himself, is it justifiable? And you go ahead and say that, no, it's not. So that would be the contradiction there.
The surgeon cutting himself, not a surgeon who is a sadist doing a procedure on someone else.
I was saying that the surgeon is a cutter, so he's cutting himself.
Okay, So
now you have to go back in. Are you clarifying or are you staying with your answer?
No, I'm clarifying because I thought you meant that the guy himself, the surgeon, is a cutter, but he's performing these procedures on other people because he's a sadist.
Yeah,
that's
so
what I took from your statement.
let me look. So people with low IQ says Cooley totally moved the goalpost. No, this is not called moving the goalpost. This is called asking a hypothetical question to see if the logic is consistent. And we see here that the logic wasn't consistent, right? So the thing is, you can ask extreme hypotheticals to see if someone is going to be logical consistent. But when the surgeon is a cutter, he says that, well, he doesn't think that should, he thinks it's malpractice. He doesn't think that it should be legal. Do I have that correct?
If you're performing a surgery upon someone for a non-medical reason, that is malpractice, whether it's yourself or somebody else.
Got it. Okay. Okay. So once again, how do you reconcile that? You're saying it, but do you see the contradiction or no? You don't see the contradiction?
I'm here, wanting to understand it better.
Okay, but, I'll explain the Well, I thought I did explain the contradiction, but you still don't see it. So I guess I'll elaborate more. So essentially, if we break things down to just things are like, there's a paper here and we sign it here, make your signature. Oh, it's legal. Then it has to be enforced X, Y, Z as far as the legality situation goes, right? But even if we take all of that away, essentially we're speaking about like the practical things like, okay, well, you need to be of age, 18 years old. You need to have the money to pay for it. And it needs to be a doctor, someone that has this certificate, right? This the certificate to do the surgery. And you say that, well, if you don't have these things, then I'm not for it. It's not justifiable. But if you do have these things, I think that it should be legal and it's okay. But then when I make the hypothetical that, well, let's be honest, I would say that there's definitely been a cutter before that's been a surgeon. I'm sure there has some at some point in history, right?
Sure.
So, and you would even conclude that for sure, definitely somewhere that could be the case. It's definitely possible that was the case. Absolutely. So with that being said, then meaning that you're not being logically consistent, like it's not logical consistent for you to say like P cannot be P, and then also not P. Like that's a contradiction.
So if the surgeon himself is a cutter in his own free time, right? That somehow equated.
No. You didn't. The hypothetical.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the hypothetical was I put everything in it, but he's just doing it on himself.
Right. That's not a medical procedure.
Wait, what do you mean it's not a medical procedure? You just said that as long as it is through okay, so your entailment is that it has to be a medical procedure, not just someone that is a doctor.
Yeah, okay. So
and that is a surgeon.
So if you and I both walk into an ER, okay, and a doctor walks in with a scalpel and stabs you, did he commit surgery or did he commit assault?
Say that again.
If me and you both walk into an ER and a doctor with a scalpel comes out and stabs you, is that assault or is that surgery?
Oh, that's assault. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a difference between someone with a medical degree and a sharp implement doing something to someone or themselves.
Yeah, that's a difference. Yeah.
Okay, so that's literally the difference that I'm explaining to you here.
Okay, I got it. So before
not a medical procedure.
Okay, so before you said medical procedure. So it has to be a medical procedure.
Yeah.
So it just can't be someone with a certificate. You didn't correct me on that. So that's why I was going with it.
I wanted you to finish talking because I thought there was more to it.
I mean, I said it multiple times and I said as long as they have a certificate, and you kept on saying yes. But now you're like adding on medical procedure.
I've been saying medical procedure. That's why I said plastic surgery.
I know. I think you did say medical procedure prior to, but when I brought up the hypothetical, my hypothetical was just someone that, you know, is a surgeon. You get what I'm saying? Someone that has a certificate.
I understand. I presume that because I thought we already
you presumed. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay.
That was my fault.
So now, all right, so I got another hypothetical for you.
Sure.
We can just pack this on in there. All right, so the only way you would think that is, you know, it should be legal for someone to cut off their wang is, once again, of age, they can give consent, they can pay for the procedure, and then the other thing is that they can, it has to be a medical procedure.
It has to be, yes. There's actual protocol that's followed by, you know, written by other doctors and people who have studied this, right? It just can't be something willy-nilly occurring, right? That's for any medical procedure. There's a protocol, there's safety protocols, there's all type of stuff that goes into that.
Okay. So then my question for you is then, well, the things that have to be written into it, you would say that it has to be many different protocols in order for the doctor to do the surgery, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. But then what about times during, you know, situations where the doctor on the fly comes up with something to maybe save someone's life, or not even save someone's life, but they do something that is not within a particular written medical procedure that let's say the
standard operating procedure.
The state, you know, all the state signed off on. Let's say it's for something, they're doing this procedure and it's to save someone's life, or it's they see this one fault, like, oh, I didn't see this. Well, let me go ahead and do this. Well, the thing that little procedure that they just did wasn't approved by the board of medical directors, let's say, right? I'm not sure what it's called. Are you for that or no, even if they save someone's life?
That's actually within doctors' purview. So they obviously, all the doctors, especially surgeons, they have to go through that policy of, you know, do no harm and all that kind of stuff. But if they have, let's say, an unconventional way of doing something to save someone's life, that's recorded by staff.
Or not even to save someone's life. Say if it's just to actually commence with the procedure, like to finish the procedure, to get the job done.
Then that actually gets reviewed. So there's a medical review board that exists within hospitals, and then there's a higher level one in the state and local and state level, that if you can actually explain to them why you did it and give the medical justifications, you're actually fine. Now, if it's just something that you just arbitrarily did, then you'll be taken off the surgical team, and then an investigation will be done after that. But that actually happens quite often in emergency situations.
It does. I used to, I'm not going to get into what I used to do, but I've not no nurse or anything like that, chat. But I know some stuff with, you know, billing codes and stuff like that and all that. So seen a few things. But anyways, okay. So, well, I got a question for you. Let's take that same situation and let's map it on. Let's map it on to where, you know, this doctor, and he's a surgeon. He writes up his own papers for him to get cut on his wrist. He wants to get some cuts on his wrists because he went to a therapist, and his therapist said that he showed his therapist and said, you know, hey, it makes me feel better. It takes away my anxiety. It takes away the depression. He makes up some type of excuse so he can cut himself on the wrist. And guess what? He is the most qualified to cut himself on the wrist, is because he cuts people all the time. He's a surgeon, right? And let's say he goes ahead and writes this up himself. And once again, it's not approved by the medical board of directors or anything like that, right? You still wouldn't be for that. And for the sake of him feeling happy, it getting rid of his depression and anxiety, just like, you know, which the LGBTQ plus community would say, well, I want to self-mutilate and cut off my wang because I feel like a woman. I'm a man, but I feel like a woman. And I think that with this wang being here, this penis being here, it doesn't make me feel good and it gives me anxiety and depression. The same excuses that a transgender person would make, this doctor is essentially making to justify him to cut himself on his wrists, right? Now, and he goes ahead and does this procedure. Now, he's going to have to deal with the board of medical directors, and it may be some stipulations with his license could be in jeopardy. I'm not taking away that other stuff. But in your worldview, would that be justifiable or no?
No, not at all.
Okay, now then I want to know why. So is it the only reason why it's not justifiable is because the board of medical directors said no?
It's not a medical procedure. Like he can give whatever excuse he wants, but
so
it's
it
not a
has
medical
to be
procedure.
okay. So hypothetically, let's say that the board of directors actually say that this is a medical procedure.
Okay, so bloodletting is now a medical procedure. Great.
Yeah, now it is a medical procedure. Cutting is a medical procedure. Is it now justifiable? Are you going to stay consistent here or no?
That absolutely. Because if that's my standard, is that if this is demonstrably, if there's empirical evidence, it's been reviewed that this bloodletting procedure is efficacious towards whatever ailment that they claim it is, then the evidence is going to be what it is, right?
Okay.
Whether I agree with
all
it
right,
or
so
not.
essentially then you would be like a utilitarian, like as long as, the data shows that, for this result, for them to get this result, then, or it shows that it's, practical or whatever, then that's good.
That's how literally all of medical science works. If you're going to put a stent in somebody's heart, it
All
has
right,
to show
so I got
that
another
it opens
question
up the
for
blood
you.
vessel.
Here's another question for you. Let's say, if it's the case that the medical board of directors, they get together and they say, you know what? We think that it's actually good. We think that it's actually okay for if people want to off themselves. If people want to commit suicide, we think that it's okay. Would you be on board with it or no?
No, because that makes no sense.
What are you talking about? Let's say we can make sense of it right now. I'll go ahead and give you an example of how it can make sense. Okay. I don't feel like I want to live. I feel like I want to off myself. I've experienced too much depression, too much anxiety. All my family members died. I have no one. I'm poor. I'm broke. I'm living on the streets. I think I just want to go ahead and take my life because you know what? I lived long enough anyway, and I think it is done, right? If someone can give a good enough reason for them to take their own lives, and if the board of directors say, it's a hypothetical, just to test the logic. Let's say the board of directors actually says, well, hey, this reason is justifiable. Okay, you're poor, you're broke, you have no one, everyone died, you feel like, living is too much for you. This is justifiable. Now, let's say if the board of directors approve off on it, would you still agree with the board of directors or no?
No, I would not, because that's not.
Okay, so stop it there. So real quick, then there's things that that is good and bad besides if the medical board of directors approve it or not.
Yeah, because
that's what I wanted to get to. That's what I wanted to get to. So therefore, we're having a moral discussion because you keep on trying to appeal to authority. As long as the authorities is the appeal to authority logical fallacy, I do believe. As long as the board of medical directors say that it's good, then it is good. But then I make a hypothetical where it says that, well, something is good, but you think it's bad and you're still not logically consistent. What's going on here? So it's a moral discussion.
Is it? So I said before in your previous example that there had to be empirical evidence for the bloodletting.
It can be empirical evidence.
No, it has to be. No, that's literally how.
So hold on for a second. I don't think that there's real quick. I don't think that there's empirical evidence currently right now. Listen. I don't think, and I can explain to you how there's no empirical evidence for a man to transition and cut off his wang and tuck whatever he cut off inside of him to make it a vagina. I don't think that there's no empirical evidence to say that this is justifiable and it's actually good. It will help this individual. I don't think that there's no empirical evidence. So you would have to explain to me what empirical evidence do you see in that procedure?
Okay. Before we start
Okay, go ahead.
are you aware of, outside of cosmetic surgery, of any medical procedure that is not based in empirical science?
Okay, say that again. Do I think that there's any empirical evidence that's not based
outside
in?
outside of cosmetic surgery, like, because we use bloodletting as an example.
Okay,
Is there
for
any
sure.
other medical procedure that you're aware of that has been signed off by a board of directors, whatever, that is not empirically based?
I would say that a lot of them are empirically based.
Do you know which ones aren't?
Not off the top of my head, but go ahead,
Okay.
make your claim.
So that's sort of what I'm pointing at here. It has to be medically based. There has to be a point A with a condition or state, and point B, the destination. Right. So we are talking about like a pathology.
Okay, real quick. I get what you're saying now. So no, I would say that, no, I already gave an example that I don't think that people that transition is empirical based. I don't think there's any empirical evidence for a man to cut off his wang, and it's some type of empirical evidence that it's a good result for the individual. I don't think that there's no empirical evidence for that. I think that there's people that just want to make money in the medical industry, and there's an opportunity here for us to make some coins. These people that want to transgender, I'll do the surgery. Okay, let's go ahead and get these dollars in. I think the empirical evidence is dollar signs. I don't think it has anything to do with that's going to be good for the person that's getting the surgery done. Yeah, okay. I don't think so.
Why do people get nose jobs and breast jobs?
I don't think that there's any empirical evidence. Okay, to answer your question, I think that they want to change themselves. I don't think that they're happy with themselves.
They want a better quality of life, correct?
No, I don't think that they're happy with themselves.
So if they're not happy, is their quality of life great or not so great?
I don't think that their quality of life would change in the better if they get these surgeries. I don't think that.
You don't think
I think that they may think that. No, I think that they may think that, but I don't think that. Yeah, that's the difference.
So people pay tens of thousands of dollars to change the way that they look, and you don't think their quality of life and self-image have no relevance with that?
No, once again, I think that they think that. Right? I think that they think that their quality of life is going to be better based off of, altering their body. I think that they do believe, just like a man that wants to cut off his wang. Yeah, I think he actually does believe that his quality of life or the way he feels about himself is going to be better. I do think that they believe that.
Subjectively, it's true.
Yeah, objectively it isn't true, and I can explain why, but go ahead with your questioning. It's cool.
So that if you admit that this is subjectively true for that individual, right, the result of this cosmetic surgery, then we have already accomplished and affirmed what it is that the goal of the plastic surgery is, which is for that person a better quality of life.
Yeah, once again, and I've already said that I'm not for any of it, right? So I would be against all of it. The only thing that I would be for, I don't know if you heard my argument before, the only thing that I would, like, if I was the man in charge and I was the one that was signing off on papers, if it's a disability or if you have an accident, like disability, like cleft lip, you're born some way, or you get a burn, it's a deformity. Okay, go ahead and get the surgery. But anything outside of that would be for, you're not happy with yourself. So I think that when people want to self-mutilate or change themselves or alter their nose and things like this, I think that it doesn't come from a place like, if I change this, it will be happy. I think it comes from a place where they're just not happy with themselves. I don't think that it ever fills a void internally. I don't think that it ever does at all.
I would have to speak to those people because I think there's a certain, limit to what we can say because none of us are the arbiter of other people's feelings.
That's fine. Maybe you would have to speak to those people, but let's speak about it in detail. All right. So let's say if a woman wants to get nose surgery or a man, someone wants to get no surgery. One of the reasons why they would want to get nose surgery would be, well, obviously they were influenced by watching things online or on TV, and they seen some type of nose. Not saying that like, because sometimes people would get nose surgery because they having breathing problems. So that would be more
septum or something.
Yeah. I'm not speaking about that. I'm only speaking about like cosmetic, meaning the way they want to change themselves for vanity, for the way that they look.
Okay.
So if we're speaking about this and just like having a thought exercise about this, well, one of the reasons why they would want to change is because they were influenced to want to think that their current nose is maybe not normal, doesn't fit in. Maybe they were bullied and, oh, you got a real big nose, or I don't like your nose. Maybe the dude got rejected by many chicks and one of the girls said, I don't really like your nose. It's a little too small or a little too big. Whatever it was, I think there was an outside influence that influenced them to want to alter themselves and made them feel unhappy. So it wasn't like it was something else that made them not feel happy with themselves. And I think that if the person can get over that, if the person can block out the negative influences, if the person has the ability to say, okay, everyone is different anyway. I don't have to do this to try to fit in. I don't have to, change this to try to, to make me feel better. If they had tough enough skin to block out the negative influences and to be happy with the way that God made them, I think that they can overcome the state of self-mutilation or getting a nose job or whatever it may be, right? So I think that we can actually be proactive and help people to say, listen, you are beautiful how you are. This is how you came out. This is a beautiful thing. Now, this is obviously not pointing out the disabilities and the stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? That's much different.
So if we're making exceptions for people, let's say a woman had to have a double mastectomy and now she's getting implants to replace what she already had. Why is there a line drawn instead of just saying, well, this is how you are now?
Wait, the double mastectomy, meaning that breast cancer?
Yeah, they have breast cancer. They had a mastectomy.
Well, that's much different. That's much different.
So I'm saying, if that's why is that an exception?
That goes into my exception.
Yeah, well, why? I'm saying, why is there an exception? Why not just say this is the state of affairs now, accept it?
I can explain. I can explain why. Because even with the birth defect, right? Because someone has a disability, they come out with a cleft lip, that causes problems. That will cause a health issue. So when you come out with a cleft lip, like it's the roof of your mouth is open. So when you can't, it's hard for you to swallow. It's like you're swallowing and breathing it in all at the same time. It messes up and it's very hard for babies. It causes many health issues. And when we're talking about a woman having breast cancer and she's getting a surgery, obviously that's causing health issues. So they're cutting out the tumor part and then they're fixing the part. It's just like a burn. Say if you burn yourself, but then you get some cosmetic surgery to take skin from other areas to cover up that skin to help heal that, right? I think that's okay as well. But I think the part where, so there's a clear distinction of what I'm speaking about. And and the reason what I'm giving, it's an exception because it's a health issue.
So in
you would have to point out a time where it isn't a health issue.
That when a woman gets the breast tissue removed, right? She doesn't need to have breasts. She's not going to be able to breastfeed anyway. There's no actual need for her. You can close the skin and have a flat chest just like a man. There's actually no need.
Totally fine.
So then why is there an exception for that?
The health issue would be there's a reason why she needed to get the surgery and cut out the breast tissue, which then she wasn't born that way, right? She wasn't born that way. So therefore, this would be something that's abnormal to her original state. So I'm referring
to the implants.
So real quick, but the only reason why she got that surgery was because there was a health issue. So let's stick at the root of things. Health issue. So the woman got the surgery. Therefore, the surgery, the effects of the surgery, smaller breast. Okay, to fix that because of that health issue, implants. Okay, that would make sense. But if a woman doesn't have any health issue, and she just wants to I don't feel happy, so I want to get some bigger titties to attract some different niggas, I think that's a mental issue, and she needs some help.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? That's what I think.
Our breast implants.
There's a clear distinction. But real quick,
go ahead.
Real quick, hold it real quick. I want to get to the super chats because we're moving the goalpost a little. Well, we're not really moving the goalpost. I think you're asking some good questions as far as what would justify certain surgeries and stuff like that. But I want to get to some of these super chats since we've been having a back and forth. And we got a lot of people backstage as well.
Oh, yeah, no, that's good. I'm sorry.
No, I want to continue this because I got some good questions for you. Okay. I can't have you. No running, man. You staying right here.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Okay, good. Let me get to the chats. 1 second here. Okay, we got What Kid Dreams. Okay, no, that was Mike Young. We got Mike Young. Okay, you said, hey, Cooley, the clip to you on your Instagram. Okay, thank you, man. I'll get to that. We got FB NW8PP, but he sends in $10. I appreciate the support. Shout out to you.
No Fugazee.
He says, well, here's my issue with the right. A lot of them think we already won. The left isn't going to stop with DEI or feminism. We are on a good path of the battle is not over yet. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I don't think the left is going to stop at all in regards to that. But okay, that pretty much summed it up with the super chats. Also, we got Zigzag backstage, and we got Dre and LD Nation. Hit me in a private chat if you guys want to engage in this debate. I want to stay right here. I think is a good conversation. Hit me in a private chat if you guys want to engage in this debate, and I'll bring you on up. Okay, 1 second. All right, Dre, you said nah. LD Nation, you was like the first one in here. Let me know if you want to engage in this. Okay, you do. And then Zigzag, let me know if you want to engage in this. And I think Zigzag will probably be on your side on this. You guys tend to share some of the similar views, so this would be good. Listen, Dre, the flat Earth debate. And sorry, chat, I'm reading a private chat right now. The flat Earth debate, man. Commentary already said that he's down for it. So, that would have to be on a separate stream, though, man. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I have a Twitch. I stream several times on Twitch, so I mean, you can just come hit me up there.
Okay, Zigzag, let me know. Okay, cool. Let's bring up LD Nation. So I think LD Nation, your audio. Tell your brother to turn off the TV, man. Or I gotta put you backstage. It's too loud, bro. Okay, Zigzag. Did you want to engage in this conversation, this debate that we're having in regards to? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just for some reason, I don't know where the the comments are. I was trying to respond to you, but I sent you a super chat.
Okay, got it. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate the love. Okay, and did you
want
to engage in this conversation?
Yeah, we could do this. But don't forget, we had another debate at one point, but it got cut off. But I'm willing to engage in this one. I'll just jump on in another time. It's just that I haven't had time to really come on.
Yeah,
often,
all good, man. So, and real quick, everyone that's tuning in on Facebook and Instagram, we're going to go ahead and close down both of those streams. So if you're tuning in right now, come on over to YouTube. That's No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube. Come right on over. 1 second. All right. And let's close. And also everyone on TikTok. See how many people we got on TikTok. All right, yeah, everybody on TikTok, come on over to No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube. Swing on over. Now we had a lot of people on there. 1 second.
I think somebody was asking about my position on abortion. I'm not a huge fan of late-term abortion, but then maybe the first trimester within the first
I was about to.
month.
That was going to be one of my next questions on that, but
I kind of felt it.
Yeah, that was coming up because I said I have more for you. But 1 second. Let's close down these other streams. Everybody on Facebook, got a lot of people on there. Come on over to YouTube. That's No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube. All right, and close this out. And okay, cool. So now we're currently only live on YouTube. Everybody get the likes up in the comments. All right, so Zigzag, who position would you agree with more when it comes to LGBTQ and the debate that we're having? Would you be more on Commentary King's side or on my side, just so we can have the debate structured properly?
I'm more on Commentary King's side.
Yeah, I figured that. I told you. All right, yeah, because I know you two guys. And then LD Nation, whose side would you be on? Commentary King's side or on my side when it comes to this conversation?
Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I'm on the Cooley side because, and I'm gonna just say, I think,
Well, real quick. I don't need a justification for just so we can have the debate ready. So it's 2 against 2 right now. That's what I wanted to have it fair. And give me 1 second here. We got another super chat that came up.
I see you, Veckel.
Okay. She says, people should be able to do what they want because we all have a choice. People that want to enhance themselves are not all mentally ill either. It's a problem when they keep doing it. Now, I think they're all mentally ill at the moment when they have the thought and at the moment when they have the procedure. I think that they can overcome that mental illness afterwards, but the procedure is already done anyway. So that's what I do believe. But I think that is definitely a mental illness because you were influenced by some outside source. Think about it. 1,000 years ago, if they could do these medical procedures, but without Instagram and TV, I don't think they really would be doing these medical procedures.
Ancient Egyptians performed cosmetic surgeries.
What type?
I think it was mostly nose stuff with chisels, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, you're talking about putting the big earrings in their ears and the big things in their nose and stuff like that. Yeah, I think
there's various types, but there's all cultures that have done body modifications for thousands of years.
Yeah, I would personally look at that. Well, yeah, something is wrong here. Something.
So no.
It can be tradition as well. So, the tradition would be the influence. So even if we say like to some tribe in Africa and we see them and they get the big old things and gauges in their ear and the big old things in their nose and they stick things in their arm for some type of tribe thing or some tradition within their tribe or some type of rite of passage. Mm-hmm. My position is the only reason why they're doing it is because they were influenced to self-mutilate.
Sure.
They were influenced to do this. And I think that if they were happy with their current state, they would not do it. The only reason why they would do it is maybe for a rite of passage. So this would be weak-minded. You're just going with the flow of things. There's as many things to deem that they're having some type of, I would call it mental illness.
Okay. So let me ask you quick. Cooley, let me ask you, what belief do you have that has had no outside influences?
No, I think there's many outside influences that's good. But then I think that once again, the difference between me and you think that you said that it's not a moral argument, but it is a moral argument. And I explain how. You think that a man cutting off his wang is immoral.
Amoral.
No, you actually think that is immoral.
Amoral.
You would have to, you never explained to me how you think that. You never made any type of justification.
I actually did. I told you. I gave you an example.
Okay, explain your example again.
So I'll go over it. So just like I said, just like a hurricane is amoral, there you can try to ascribe a morality to it based on what happens to, like I could say, Hurricane Katrina was immoral because it wrecked my entire life. No, it is simply a force of nature. It simply is. Someone electing to get a cosmetic surgery has no actual moral or sort of quandary because it's something that they're doing for themselves that actually harms no one but them in the temporary status. And that
So
is
why
something
wouldn't
that
you
goes
do it,
toward,
or why wouldn't you want your son to do it?
because I'm not them. The same reason I wouldn't get pec
No,
implants. I'm not
I
them.
know you're not them, but like you're not answering the question why. You're just saying, well, I'm not this person, but like
Right.
why?
I don't
why
have the
wouldn't you do
desire
it?
to, because I personally do not have the desire.
Okay, you don't have a desire to, and you said that you wouldn't want your son to do it either, but you don't have that desire as your son. So you're saying that you don't want your son to have that desire?
Or any other type of desire where it unnecessarily puts him under the knife. Absolutely not.
Okay, got it. And my question for why wouldn't you want him to have that desire?
Because you don't need to actually modify yourself unless it is for a medical procedure, or if it is something that you personally, right, want to have done and you're not being peer pressured into. So if at some point he really feels the need to, hey, you know what, Dad, I want to go ahead and have this procedure done on my eyes. I'm tired of wearing glasses, because that's also a cosmetic procedure. Okay, you know, it's risky. If that's what you really want to do, fine, go for it. But I honestly
I'm
would
okay
be
with
against
that cosmetic
But
procedure.
But see, you're making an exception. That's
I
that's
told
not
you I had
necessary.
exceptions.
But that's not medically necessary. A laser eye surgery is absolutely unnecessary. There's no actual medical reason that you need to have that procedure done at all.
You don't think that there's any reason for
No.
someone to have medical eye surgery?
Absolutely not. You can wear glasses.
Okay, you can wear glasses
Or contacts. Yeah, there's no reason for you to actually get that done.
or contacts. So there's no reason at all to go ahead and get the laser eye surgery. Let's say I would say that when someone has glaucoma, they're getting certain eye surgeries done.
But yeah, because there's a pathology attached to it that can't be corrected with lenses.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying. So therefore, there's an exception.
Right, but glaucoma surgery is for treating glaucoma. Laser eye surgery is so you don't have to wear glasses.
And look at this. See this argument? And I agree with that argument, which is an exception. But remember the questions that you asked me, you were talking about, well, Cooley, would you ever, just lost the train of thought. Right before I brought up these two people, you asked me, what was the question you asked me right before I brought them up? My bad. I'm doing a trillion things.
Yeah, no, that's right. It's hosting and trying to do all this is busy. I think I was asking about the, breast implants after the double mastectomy.
Perfect. And once again, my justification was, well, no, I think that is justified because it was a health issue. So this is why they got it done, right? And so think about this. There's a health issue when it comes to glaucoma. So, well, they need to go ahead and they can take antibiotic. They can take many type of different drugs for it to help out with it. But guess what? Doing this procedure in the eye that would essentially have them, they would see better as well, but also they wouldn't lose their eye. I think that this would be a necessary procedure. So this would be one of those exceptions, just like the woman that is getting the breast implants because she had cancer.
Okay, so the mastectomy procedure itself is separate from the cosmetic surgery of the breast implants, right? So once she's gotten the breast tissue removed that's cancerous, there's actually no need for her to have breasts at that point. There's no medical reason for her to do that other than vanity.
Well, no, the medical reason is not to enhance, is to get her back to the normal state. Just like the person that has glaucoma is to get him back to the state of where he couldn't. He had 20/20 vision at some point. She had perfect titties at some point. But then cancer came and jacked it up. And then glaucoma came and jacked it up. You do the medical procedure for the eye, which then corrects the person's eye so they can see the 20/20 vision. Hopefully, you do the procedure for the breast implants for the woman that had the cancer. You do that for her. It's the same thing. There's no differences here, bro. So it's crazy how you're against the breast implants, but you're for the glaucoma. You would have to justify that somehow, but I don't think you are.
No, I'm for the glaucoma surgery. Absolutely. I'm also for the double mastectomy. Both of those are medical procedures to treat a certain illness. Both of them. The cosmetic surgery that comes after is for vanity. That's not for a medically relevant procedure.
No, what are you speaking about? Is not. They can literally do that the same day.
They could do that the same day, but just because they can do it the same day, those are two different surgeons too. One's a plastic surgeon, and the other
the same surgeon can do it. What you talking about? You don't think the surgeon that can take out the breast cancer, that surgeon isn't skilled enough? He doesn't have the certification to also put the implants and taper up as well?
I'm going based on a buddy of mine's wife just had this done, and you schedule both of them separately.
Well, she probably scheduled them separately, but I don't think that you actually have to schedule them separately.
Because they're two different. Because they're two different.
That's something that we would have to look into, though.
I'm telling you, they're two different. A plastic surgeon is different than a doctor that's trained on how to cut out cancer.
Yeah, but you're still not justifying anything. Your justification for it as well, because one is a surgery. But then the other one, and when they put the implants in, it's vanity. I could say the same thing for the glaucoma. The glaucoma, they don't always have to do any eye surgery for glaucoma. There's many different medications you can take. But I think that the eye surgery that they do when they're like going into the retina and stuff like that, essentially what it does is, one of the eye surgeries, I would say what it does is, and I'm even like looking at Google, so I am speaking correct here. One of them is so they can see better as well, but the other one is just that they don't lose an eye. So here's the question. What about the surgery where they can see better?
I'm absolutely for that, because there's a pathology attached to it. Absolutely.
And it has, okay, so therefore there's no justification for it then, because that would essentially be vanity.
That seeing is not vanity. That's one of your primal senses. I don't know how that's vanity.
Well, I mean, not vanity. One is the vanity that you're attaching to the woman that got the breast surgery is not essentially vanity, because she's going back to her normal state.
She started off not having breasts when she was born.
The person when you are born, you started off not seeing as clear. You started off with blurry vision.
But you still had eyes that work.
Come on,
like I mean, it's not like you grow a whole set of eyes, bro. Come on, like you.
Come on, listen.
All of us.
You're not giving
with that stage.
Yo, commentary, bro. Your justifications are horrible. Here's my point, real quick, and I'll land my plane. This is all I'm saying.
Okay.
I find it very, it seems that it's very hard for you to reconcile that, when it comes to, you try to like not say it's a moral argument. You try to, and I think I know your beliefs. What are you, atheist or not atheist, agnostic? What are you?
I'm just used to say non-believer. It's a good catch-all.
Okay, like a non-believer. So essentially you don't believe in objective morality. You believe that morality is subjective.
No. Actually, I do believe in objective morality. That it's more so a social contract. You haven't spoken to many non-believers, have you? Okay, so you believe that morality is objective, but it's a social construct, but it's a social contract. Yeah. This, what it mean outside of that social contract, is it objective? Like if we don't agree to this. Yeah, you can choose not to agree to it, but in every single civilization around the world, some way, somehow, people who can't read and write decide that it's probably best not to kill each other. Every single time. Okay, but have you ever heard of a island called Papua New Guinea, and they're called the Cum Warriors, and they think that it's okay as a rite of passage to for the young boys, in order for them to become warriors. They think it's good, and it's of their tradition for the young boys to give them head. Like pederasty. Yeah, so that's what they think. So what I'm saying is there's many civilizations where, currently even today that's going on. And there's been many civilizations where they even would, kill the firstborn child. Like even stuff that we even seen in the Bible. There's been many civilizations where they had these weird things that they thought that it was good to do and justifiable to do. So I'm asking you, since you think that morality
is tied to a social contract, then that means that whatever the consensus says is good or bad, then that is what is good or bad. Do I have
for that time period and for that culture? That's true, but that's not always true.
So for Papua New Guinea, there's an island. There's a tribe. They're called the Kham warriors. For this tribe, they think that it is good. They think that it is a rite of passage. It's moral for them. So for that tribe, would you say that that is immoral or moral?
So based on my morality in the Western world, I would say that that is immoral.
Immoral.
Now, immoral
got it.
For me,
but
because
for
they're
that
not
tribe,
able to consent for that tribe and that time period, wherever that is.
It's currently right now.
That if that's right now, for them, that is a moral construct that they have that they find acceptable that I don't agree with. And I don't think that any society has a perfect set of morals or ethics at all.
Okay. Well, that's the thing. I don't I don't think that any society ever had one at all either. This is why I believe in objective morality that's not bound by consensus and us agreeing on things and signing a contract. I believe that morality, God sets the standard for morality, objective morality. So it has nothing to do with how we feel or how we view things. It has everything to do with what God deems to be true. So real quick, when we're having this discussion here and we're speaking about men transitioning and self-mutilating and cutting off their wang, and you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't want your son to do it. And the only reason why you would want other people to do it is because if they're of age, if they can pay for it, and if it's a medical procedure, then it's okay for them to do it in your eyes. But it's like a moral contradiction, man. You can't escape the morality of it. You're just saying that like your son, you not wanting your son to do it has nothing to do with morality, but it does.
So how are you ascribing morality to someone's personal choice to get an elective cosmetic procedure? I guess that's what I'm having a hard time understanding.
Can you answer my question first before I answer yours?
Sure. Reiterate it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I got you on that, but because I haven't really gotten a justification. You would give me an answer, but it wouldn't be like not anything that's justifiable, even under your worldview. So under your worldview, you wouldn't cut off your wang, you wouldn't transition to a woman, and you would hope that your son wouldn't transition to a woman.
Correct. Correct.
Or cut off the wang. But then you said that, well, let's say if he keep asking you and over time and stuff like that, you never actually got to that point. But let's say if in time, like maybe it was like 5 years with your son coming to you and he's giving you all of these reasons for him wanting to cut off his wang and transition to a woman. Is there any point in time that you would be okay with your son transitioning? Yes or no?
No, because that would fall under the whole getting unnecessary cosmetic surgeries.
Okay. But once again, it's unnecessary to you. But remember, what if he makes justifiable claims and he demonstrates how it is necessary to him based on how he feels and X, Y, Z?
So then he's an adult and he's going to make that choice on his own. And if something goes wrong, that's on him. I'm going to wash my hands of it after that.
Got it. So as long as someone can justify why something is necessary to get done, because then actually we can take everything. We can take off the medical procedure. We can take away. We'll keep the consent and we'll keep the money to pay for the procedure, but we can take away the medical procedure thing. You know why? Is because as long as they find it necessary for them to get it done, then you essentially would be okay with it.
I'd be okay because it's their body and it's their choice. Just like the mantra from all those other folks.
That's what I wanted to get down to. Okay. So now I have a clear understanding. So now your justification is, let me just get it right. As long as they feel it's necessary, as long as they feel that it's necessary, then you're okay with people cutting off their limbs.
Making adult decisions for their own body. Absolutely.
Got it. So now then you have to how can you reconcile this? Someone thinking that is necessary to off themselves. Let's get back to my original questions, because we went through a lot of hurdles, man. You was jumping through a lot of hurdles trying to, you was moving the goalposts to justify this, but now it breaks down to what your argument breaks down to. As long as someone is of age, as long as someone has the money, then and if they feel and if it's necessary to them, then they can get it done. And you would think that is okay to get done.
As far as assisted suicide.
No. I'm speaking about transgender transition.
If they want to do it, that's go for it.
Okay, so let's just see if this is logically consistent. Now let's just map it over to offing themselves. Okay. They want to self-delete.
Okay, so
of age,
right?
They think that is necessary. They explain why it's necessary, right. And they can. I don't think it costs any money for it. It's free. So,
right. So
should they do it or not?
Probably not. That actually goes against your inherent self-preservation. You have to somehow be at a point where that's deactivated, and that's why people are stopped from doing that. There is no self-preservation that gets activated when it comes to someone getting an elective surgery, and that's why the two are inherently different. Every single one of us has inherent self-preservation.
Okay, let me get to the super chat real quick, and then I'm going to reply to that. So here's someone that has low IQ. Cooley needs more empathy. Are you speaking about empathy? Sadly, life isn't all logic. Okay, well, we can see that someone is operating more than just logic, because I appeal to an authority that logic and reason is subordinate to. So you got me wrong on there, buddy. I believe in God. I believe in Christ. And then he says, Christ told sinners to repent. He didn't fight them to do it. Okay, so I think you're speaking about, Christ didn't fight them to do it. He asked them to repent. So you're saying that Christ didn't force them to do it. He asked them to repent. And once again, I'm not saying that we should be, no, actually, I do think that we do need some force. I think that we do. Because in fact, Commentary King, he's for it being legal for people to self-mutilate, meaning that this is enforced. It's enforced. So let's say if Commentary King, let's just use the example, Commentary King, he doesn't want his son to self-mutilate, but his son then decides to self-mutilate. There's nothing Commentary King can do under his worldview, because it will be legal in order for the procedure to be done. So it would be if he wanted to stop his son, then it would actually be legal matters that would come into place. He would get arrested. He wouldn't be able to do that. So everything does still boil down to force when we're speaking about rights and stuff like that. So I don't really get your point. But if you want to come up, you can join the stream.
Can I ask Commentary King something real quick?
Yeah, you can. And this was very sweet. What Kid Dreams even pointed out, that is the stupidest argument. Life is all logical because God is logical. Yeah, it's like, what are you speaking about, bro? That was dumb. But sure. No, real quick. LD Nation, I was up here talking a whole lot. LD Nation, you can ask me a question.
Okay, cool. All right. Because this conversation reminds me of something I heard on a different podcast.
And real quick. I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break. I'll be right back. But go ahead, LD Nation. You can ask him your question.
Okay. Commentary King, man.
How you doing?
I just want to ask you a question about something I heard on a podcast last night. Was a young lady who stated that she doesn't care about people calling black people the N-word.
Okay.
Do you see the irony in that? And what do you think about that?
Was the lady on the podcast hosting it black, or?
No, she was not black.
Okay. So if she doesn't personally care about folks being called the N-word, that's her prerogative. Right. No one should have to hold a torch for somebody else's issues unless they genuinely feel some sort of connection to it. Right. Everybody can, go along with the current Kool-Aid, with trying to latch on to their favorite marginalized group for brownie points with their peers. But if you don't genuinely, right, have some sort of connection to that and understand why folks don't like it, and you go along with the social stigmas, then that's her. That's her freedom to do so.
Yeah. But the irony in that is that she actually said N word. Like I could have probably understood where she was coming from if she would have said, I don't care if people call black people the actual, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like nigga,
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
If she would have said the actual word, it was like I don't care about them calling, but me, I'm gonna say N word. You see what I'm saying? It kind of reminds me of what you said. Like you don't care about what people do, but you wouldn't like do it yourself.
Well, there's consequences for things, all right? So people say stuff like that because they want to express their opinion, but they also don't want to get demonetized. So she could just say all type of expletives, but you understand her position, but she's not crazy enough to take that too far and then get her content taken down.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I don't know, Cooley, did you hear what I said?
No, I didn't get the question. What was the question? Is it still on this topic, or are you talking about something else?
Yeah, no, it's still on.
Okay.
It's still on the topic, but
he's drawing a parallel.
Okay, go ahead.
Just, what I'm saying, kind of, I said it reminded me of something I heard from a different podcast when a young lady last night. It was Myron, two feminists, and a couple other guys on there. But the young lady, she said, I don't care about people calling black people the N-word. But she didn't say the literal term. She said N-word. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, okay, I don't care about y'all saying it, but I'm not gonna say, you know what I'm saying, the literal term. And it reminded me of like what he's saying. It's like, he don't care what you do, but he's not gonna do it himself. So it's kind of like
you can try to paint that parallel. The only problem with that parallel is that there can be many other reasons for the woman not to say the N-word, like she doesn't want to experience backlash or consequences or lose money.
Exactly.
This would be nothing to do with her thinking that it's still morally good to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm just, I mean, I just thought that was kind of, funny how she was like, I don't care.
The point, I get what you're saying. The point that me and commentary we're getting at, it's a moral argument. He still can't justify. He keeps appealing to certain other things, but it still always comes back down to morality. Like he appealed to, well, first he tried to appeal to, well, the board of medical agency and the board of directors in the medical field. Then he went to, if it's necessary, as long as the person feels that it's necessary. Like he's trying to grasp onto things to justify people self-mutilating. Even when he wouldn't do it, he wouldn't want his son to do it. So, all of these justifications, he still thinks that it's wrong to do because he wouldn't. Like you still think that's wrong. The thing is with the N-word thing, that woman may think that it's not wrong to say the N-word, but the only reason why she wouldn't say the N-word is because she doesn't want to feel the backlash herself. So this is why it wouldn't map on perfectly to me and commentary.
I see what you said.
This is why I didn't bring up things outside of the medical part. Besides, so it can make sense, like suicide and other things.
Aside from that, I think commentary king, you're basically stating the obvious, man. When it comes to doing things that you're not happy with yourself, you're you have an alt with how you were created, and ultimately it boils down to the fact that, man, you basically beefing with God. You know what I'm saying? And I came on the podcast before and I said, like about reparations and all that, I was saying like how I came to the conclusion that, hey man, Jesus is your reparations. I know you say you're a non-believer, but the power of a believer, man, is that even when you don't have faith, you know what I'm saying, I still have faith, like to tell you that, you know what I'm saying, your beef is with God, man.
For commentary, he doesn't really care. He doesn't believe. But do you have an argument for commentary? Come on, man, it's debate night. Push forth an argument. You got an argument for him?
I mean, Ben, it's just logical fallacies, you know what I'm saying, within the argument, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, stating the obvious, it kind of goes without saying, like the
Which
BBLs and all that.
fallacies?
Yeah, of course we want BBLs and, the cosmetic surgeries and, men want to chop their wings off and, all this, man, it kind of, it's just, stating the obvious and
commentary. You did commit the appeal to authority logical fallacy.
What authority was that?
When you appealed to when we were, and you took it away though. So you actually self-refuted that. So I would say that you did appeal to the authority logical fallacy. You did commit that logical fallacy, but then you took it back when you were appealing to the medical industry. This is why it should be good, or this is why it's acceptable.
I don't remember naming any authority figure at all in any point in time.
No, you did. You said that as long as the board of directors in the medical industry says that this medical procedure is good, then it's good. If they say that it's not good, then it's not good.
So me appealing
or it's not acceptable. I don't even think you said good, but you said that it wouldn't be okay or not acceptable.
Because again, I didn't put a moral prescription on it at all. And so I appealed to a consensus, right? Not an authority figure at any point in time.
Well, no, the authority figure would be the board of medical directors. I do believe we do have that. Everything has to be approved when a surgeon does a procedure. So that isn't just a consensus. That's an authority there.
Well, their body can be an authoritarian in the field, but they're not a singular. It's not a singular authority. So,
no, it's not singular. But think about it. Even you can. So when the appeal to authority, logical fallacy, it doesn't mean that it's just singular. It has nothing to do with just singular. You're just appealing to the person or persons that's in a position of power, the authority. They got the certificate. They created this line of authority here, and that's what you're appealing to.
Okay. So when I explained my argument, I said it has to go through medical authority figures, right? And then
even
I said it has to be, so medical authority figures, right? The medical board, as we're calling it. And then I also said the empirical evidence. It has to be empirically based.
But you said that everything that goes through the medical field, you even asked me the question.
Right.
You said that everything that goes through, you asked me, does everything that goes through the medical board, is it all empirical based? And I said no, but you said yes. You said that yes, it is. Well, actually, I said yes because I misspoke. And then you said yes, you agreed. And then I said, well, actually not, because I don't believe that certain things is empirical based. I think they just make up lies, right? I think it just make up things to get bread.
And then I asked you for an example of that.
LD Nation, yep. I'm gonna unless you have another argument real quick.
I have one more.
Well, real quick, I'll keep you real quick. Let us finish this conversation. I want commentary to finish. Finish your thought, commentary. My bad.
All right. So the medical board isn't an all-seeing eye that just grants anything. That I specifically said that, hey, this is the governing body, but it has to be, all medical procedures have to be empirically based.
Which is essentially consensus. The authority figure.
That the figures
head.
The figures themselves are the governing body, but that's not why the procedures themselves are sound. It's based on the medical evidence, which is empirical in nature, and that's why I made a big deal out of it.
Okay, but when we're speaking about the appeal to authority logical fallacy, you still committed that logical fallacy, because that logical fallacy has nothing to do with consensus. It has nothing to do with that. It only has to do with the authority head. So whatever the authority head is that you're appealing to, which in this case, you were appealing to the medical authority, the medical board, then that is a logical fallacy, meaning that your justification of why this is acceptable to do, or why it's right, why it's good, whatever it may be, the reason why you're okay with it is because this medical field says so.
So because there's
that's the reason why I took you down that that line of questioning with asking you multiple questions to see if you were logically consistent, because I know that you committed a logical fallacy. That's all it was.
So the issue, extracting the fact that I placed a heavy emphasis on the empirical evidence needed to be reviewed by that board, sort of, you see what I mean? You can't extract that from what I was saying. Right there,
I'm not extracting it, but we can. That's in there. The medical board, they do certain consensus and they have a certain line of methodology on what they deem to be good practice or not.
Right? Is that based on empirical evidence, though?
And it can be based off of whatever it may be. That isn't the argument here. What we're speaking about. We're speaking about if you committed the logical fallacy, what LD Nation said, and all I'm saying here is you did. You can't not.
I disagree. And so here's the thing.
Okay, then explain how did you?
So I'll explain. So
all right, go ahead.
Both of you heard me reference that the medical procedures have to be empirically based, correct? Both of y'all heard me say that. Yes, no?
The medical procedures has to be empirically based, and then we spoke about how it's based. How do they come up with this consensus? How do they agree on things? Right. And then you appealed. Yep. And you appealed to the medical authority. That's literally the words you even used.
Right. They are the authority in the field that verifies
it doesn't matter.
On the empirical evidence.
So listen, it doesn't matter what methodology they use for empiricism and for the empirical evidence. My bad. The same thing, even if you appeal to, okay, well, I'll give you an analogy real quick. So basically you're saying this. Cops say that it's okay to kill black people when they, get caught selling drugs in their car. So if you get pulled over with drugs in your car, then it's okay to do it because all the evidence empirically shows that it's a high probability if he had drugs, he was going to sell it. If he was going to sell it, this was going to hurt other people. So he would essentially be possibly killing other people. So we can just go ahead and kill all black people and all people that sell drugs outside there if they get caught with it in their vehicle. You can come up with some type of empirical evidence to justify anything, right? This doesn't get rid of that. If you say that that's right or that's okay, I agree with that. As long as you say that you agree with that, then you are appealing to authority, right? Without giving any other justifications, you would be appealing to authority.
Right. So I'll actually read it off here, Google. An appeal to authority.
Well, that's what Google I didn't X him out, chat. Google was like, man, this nigga lying.
Yeah, man.
God was like, homie is about to lie right now. Yeah. Let's get him up out here. Listen, my hands was over here. I did not get him off stream.
Nah, so, man. I was gonna ask,
So actually, look, you know what? I'll go ahead and bring it up for him for the chat.
Yeah, because I mean, it's it's just not logical. It's just, But what I was gonna say is on the fact of like, tell me something I don't know. Like when I remember when the young girl was on your podcast, the young lady with her father and the dude putting on a dress and all that type of stuff, and his daughter, somebody came on a podcast and put a chat in and was like, I'm not trying to be a grandfather, I just want to lay the pipe or whatever, and her response was kind of like what you would say, like Fugazee, when it should have been like tell me something I don't know, basically what you're doing is you're stating the obvious. You're not really saying too much of anything. So, but yeah.
Okay. Antenna, turn on your camera, bro.
Hello?
Yeah.
Where's King? Where'd he go?
Yeah, I don't know why. Why is
he got boot? He got the boot.
Nah, he.
Did you kick him?
No, I didn't kick him. I didn't even kick the other guy either.
Cooley,
hold up.
Did you catch Fatty's podcast last night with Dung Quisha on there? She was.
Yeah, listen, man, we got to stay on topic real quick. Let me get you up out of here, man. This nigga off topic. Hold on, man. I'm trying to see why the other guy went off too.
I wanted to address. I wanted to address some of the things that King said because I thought it was really interesting, and I don't want to address it while he's not here. I like to give people the opportunity to explain themselves and shit. But if he's not here,
you have grievances with. You mean Commentary King?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get Commentary King back up here. See if he came in. Okay, yeah, he is in here.
Apologize for the background.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, he's back.
So I was trying to explain something. My cat stepped on my computer, turned it off.
Okay. All good, man. So real quick. I'm trying to see what's going on. So you did that yourself because
no. So people watching, Cooley didn't do that. That was my cat.
Okay,
my computer's restarting.
But I had someone up, and I wonder why he went out because he was hitting me in a private chat and said he wanted to speak. So I was just making sure it wasn't anything on like Restream my end that was just booting people out.
No, it's not.
Okay, so I'm good. Okay,
no, you're good.
So Antenna, you said you had grievances with Commentary. What's going on?
Yeah. So I mean, aside from the appeal to what do you call it, authority thing, I mean, I disagree with Cooley on this. But like, what I caught from the YouTube, when I joined the YouTube or whatever, there was something that was said in the beginning of the conversation that for once in the lifetime opportunity, No Fugazee is actually speaking a little bit of facts here, okay? For one time, okay? So I'm curious.
I thought we were best friends, bro.
Listen. I may disagree on like 99.9% of the things that he says, but No Fugazee is actually speaking facts here. So I want to give you the floor, King. I'm curious on this, right? So when you made it completely clear that you're an atheist, right? Are you an agnostic atheist or just straight up atheist?
Just straight up atheist.
But you believe morality is objective.
Yes.
Okay. How?
Because we exist within different societies that have an unspoken social contract, right? So you can go back as far as the Sumerians. Why didn't they all just slaughter each other the second they realized that they were sentient? If there was no sort of unspoken social contract amongst them before they had any sort of organized religion.
Okay. Do you know what? This is not me speaking down to you at all. Genuinely asking. Do you know what objectivity and subjectivity means?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me what do you? Because maybe we're operating in two different definitions. What do you think objectivity means?
So as far as subjective, hey, that's just to me. Objective, that's external. Doesn't matter who you ask. Doesn't matter where you go.
Okay, so in philosophy, right? To formalize it, subjectivity is going to mean dependently verifiable on the mind. So thoughts, feelings, beliefs, patterns, observations, etc. They're all verifiable with the mind. Objectivity means independently verifiable outside of the mind, right? So we can have the social contract that everybody not murder people, but if another society had the contract of everybody can murder people or whatever, how is that? I don't see how that's objective. Or how is because everybody agreeing on a thing doesn't make it objective.
No, I think that because it is universal, you can't find a society like that anywhere at any point in time.
Yeah, but hypothetically, if there was one, what would be the issue?
Then there wouldn't be a social contract. We wouldn't exist, literally.
Well, the social contract is that murder is okay. Them not existing because of the social contract is irrelevant.
I think it is actually pretty important. So if this social contract at the very basis says that, you know what, all of us should probably live, right? And no one has formalized that. There has to be something inherent to each and every one of us to gravitate towards that, regardless if we have a religion or a deity watching us. So
how do you know that? How do you know that everybody living is a good thing? What if somebody literally just be like, no, I disagree with this? Who cares?
I mean, there's one person being a solipsist, being the exception, doesn't speak for the entire civilization.
Yeah, but they're just as valid. They're just as valid as the entire civilization because you're just saying that, hey, what makes like life axiologically valuable, right? Axiology is just a study of value, right? What makes life intrinsically or instrumentally axiologically valuable is that everybody said so. Then all the person who just has to do is just be like, okay, you're wrong. That person is going to be just as valid as the majority because you're not appealing to anything objective. You're just saying X thing is true because a bunch of people said so.
Right. At no point in time does that mental calculus occur for any of us. All of us have the inherent self-preservation.
Who cares? That literally doesn't matter. Hypothetically,
I think it does.
Somebody did.
What you're describing is a process that literally nobody conducts. We could hypothetically say that.
Hypothetically, if somebody had that process, they would be just as valid.
Because you said so, or because that's actually what? Okay,
King,
so
you have to actually engage with the hypothetical.
Okay,
people. If you had a society,
one mic at a time. Let Antenna just let commentary respond to what you're saying real quick.
Let me ask the question. Right?
Okay.
If you have a society, if you have a society of 100 people, right, and 99, literally 99 people said that EPAR, right, put it backwards, EPAR, right? They said that EPARing women is a bad thing, but none of them believe in God. They all just agree that EPAR is bad. But you have one person that says EPAR is good or whatever, right? Again, you're saying that the 99 is right simply because they're the 99.
Right. So I say that's because that's what apparent in every single civilization. Absolutely. There's a consensus in literally everything that we do in every single society. And we're able to then demonstrate these by using empirical means. Hey, you know what? Let's talk about bodily autonomy. Hey, let's bring in all these other concepts on the back end. At no point does somebody have the mental capacity or the time to go, you know what? Maybe slaughtering every single person, right, is the appropriate thing to do. You inherently know that because there is at some point that there is some sort of social contract that drives all of us to it, no matter what religion or area that we come from. You can create a hypothetical.
Wait, hold on, let me respond.
Real quick, go ahead.
All right. What you're saying is literally, I hate to break this to you, that is literally not objective. What you just described is called cultural relativism. That's literally a subjective standard. Everything that you just said is verifiable within the mind. If it doesn't appeal to anything outside of the mind, then it's not objective. That's literally not the word means. What you just described is called cultural relativism, which is a meta-ethical subjective standard for morality. So I have no idea why you're saying that this makes it objective just because everybody feels X way about a thing that literally does not matter. Like it, again, hypothetically, if somebody disagreed, they would be just as valid because it's all just subjective. That's cultural relativism. That's not objective.
All right. You're right. Just like pederasty.
I know I'm right. I'm always right.
That's not true, but you know what? That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
I know I'm right. I'm always right. So it's not objective.
It's not objective.
No, it's not.
So again, just to finish off here, again, 99.9% of this no Fugazee guy, obviously we disagree on almost everything. But when he actually levied, the question of, wait a minute, you don't believe in God, how do you think morality is objective? Low key, valid question. I don't see how you I don't believe in God, and I have no idea how you could ever possibly even fathom an objective standard absent God. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
That makes absolutely no sense. I'm a non-cognitivist, by the way. I don't believe that morality is objective or subjective. But that's it. If you're gonna admit I'm right, then I'm right. Anyways, bye-bye. That's all I wanted. Peace, have fun, be careful.
Yeah, thank you, bro. He's right.
This guy, Antenna, is funny.
He gets animated. I like it. I like him.
The thing is, the only reason why I do agree with Antenna, because Antenna, me and Antenna, we disagree on literally, like he said, everything. But he does believe in, like he ran off, but I was about to ask him some questions that he doesn't believe that its morality is subjective or objective. Well, then I was going to get him on that, because then if it's all based off of, is it just based off of preferences? Well, if it's based off of preferences, then it's obviously subjective. You get what I'm saying? So I hope you didn't, I wish you didn't run, Antenna. You didn't run, but you went ahead and left. But Antenna, come back in so we can have this debate on this, because even though you made some good points when it came to arguing that morality is how, absent God, morality can't be objective, which I totally agree. But then you argue that morality isn't subjective or objective. I would love to debate you on that, but hope he comes back up. I'll bring him up. But Commentary King, man, how do you reconcile that then, man? If if then basically from the discussion that you and Antenna had, you would say that then when we're getting back on our topic and we're speaking about, transgenderism and, a boy cutting off his wang, self-mutilation, you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't want your son to do it. And you still think it's objective based off of a consensus or an agreement, but it's actually not objective based off of that. And you just agreed that it's not objective based off of that, meaning that it would be subjective. Then do you not agree that it would still be, do you agree that it's bad or good when it comes to I'll say it this way, can you make the moral justification that it is bad if someone cut off their wang?
No, I wouldn't say that. If you're just asking me if someone just decides arbitrarily that, hey, I'm going to cut my own penis off, probably not the best for various reasons based on medical science. But if you're asking me if I can ascribe a moral argument to it, probably not.
Okay, and one of the reasons why you can't subscribe a moral argument because you don't believe. What did you say you are again? You don't believe in nothing? What is it? It's not atheist.
No, just non-believer. It's easier to say non-believer.
Okay, non-believer. So since you're a non-believer, it's just like, well, I can't make any moral justifications
about this particular topic. You brought up pederasty earlier, obviously, again, but that's based on empirical science that, hey, you know what, our minds don't mature up into a certain point, so that's different. That you can obviously make a moral argument about that.
So real quick, Evan, I got you. I know you want to ask him a question. So if you're not making a moral justification on why you or your son shouldn't self-mutilate and cut off your wang, then the only justification that you would be making to why you wouldn't do it would be what? I know you made the justifications that why people should do it. You said of age. You said if they have the money and if the medical authority says, approves of it, right? But now let's say if they don't want to do it. What's the moral justification that it is okay to do? I mean, is okay to do.
That it is okay if they don't want to do it?
I'm sorry. Yeah, what's my bad, chat. If they don't want to do it, what's the moral justification to say that it is that is good that they don't do it? Because obviously it's good that your son doesn't do it. It's good that you don't do it. Where are you getting your moral justification of why it's good that you and your son don't do it then?
Yeah, because having unnecessary surgeries just puts you at risk for further complications. That's for any cosmetic surgery though.
Okay, so then you're appealing to unnecessary. But then this would still appeal to something that's either, if it's unnecessary, is it unnecessary to you? So it will appeal to subjective then, because some things that's necessary to others may be unnecessary to other people. So it's necessary to you, unnecessary to other people.
Yeah. So in this case, necessary meaning non-life-threatening. So anything cosmetic would fall under unnecessary. Obviously, medical procedures for a life-threatening illness or ailment would be necessary.
Got it. So again, you're not appealing to good or bad. You're just appealing to the medical necessities of it.
Exactly. It's like, right. So I don't attribute morality to everything like my favorite ice cream.
Yeah. I mean, you don't. I mean, you can though. You can. I mean, we can make a moral argument out of anything. I hate when people say that. You can.
I mean, I could arbitrarily ascribe morality to my cat's peeing in the corner, right? But it doesn't really mean much of anything when it comes to the consequences or the.
Well, no, I wouldn't subscribe that because they don't have the ability to really operate in a. I don't think they're sentient beings like human beings are, so they can't operate in a moral way. So the cat wouldn't be immoral for being in a corner. They don't know what they're doing is right or wrong. But I think human beings, we do know what we are doing is right or wrong. We all feel shame for certain reasons. We all feel regret for certain reasons. But anyways, I got Evan up here. Evan, what's going on, man? You want to join in?
Yeah, not much. But I would say to Commentary King, like when he was referring to societies having the innate ability to go and not assume, not murder everyone, not Atena had a great way of saying, like coding it, but I'll just say great because I'm used to hearing that.
Okay.
If you look at like the Turkish and like the Mongol sort of horse people, they went and conquered and killed everyone that they saw. And Genghis Khan was notorious for having a cart and like killing everyone that was too tall over the wheel because there was too many people that he had to handle. And even in the societies among their own people, the only reason that they didn't go and rape the other people's women was because of honor killings. Not that they saw women's autonomy as valuable, and they also partook in slavery. So that as a society where they were struck on like the harshness of nature, which is the step where they had to be very careful to make sure that they didn't die of thirst or die of hunger, and they had to make sure that their horses and their their livestock were in good shape. I'd say if you look at the most basic level, where I would say for that they were fighting for survival and only struck out to go and get more than that, I would say that the inherent like biological nature of like a shared ethics is I don't see that being real, especially with the different populations where the more harsh the environment is, the more extreme they tend to be, and the more immoral they look from more civilized societies.
Oh no, I don't disagree that we as a society, any human society, have the capacity for great evil. I mean, tons of religions speak about that. But on I think at a very basic level, even when you're not on a war campaign, there is a certain consensus among almost every single known civilization. They have understood to some degree you can't do everything by yourself. So some type of cohesion is needed. But I think when you start talking about warfare and war culture, I think that if it's going to be kind of hard for me to explain this, if I don't think any of y'all have ever served, there's a different culture and moral spectrum within war fighters than civilians. And it's incredibly hard to describe, but the things that we find immoral and things that we would be averse to are gravitated towards and upheld within warfighter society. And so if you have an entire society built of warfighters, that's going to be dramatically different than a civilian population. So they would actually be the exception to this because they'd be putting themselves in precarious situations purposely.
I can see that sort of logic, but I would say that kind of doesn't. I guess you conceded earlier that you're speaking more generally, and that things tend to be subjective among like major populated things, but there are common things that are established for settled societies, I'll call it, but yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, if you have I guess in what they call agrarian society, that's much different than a small Roman troop going on campaign. It's going to be dramatically different and how they conduct themselves. It just if you look at the the practices like decimation, for instance, like that. What civilian population is going to commit something so heinous, and unnecessary? And so when we try to examine the habits and behaviors of these people, especially back then, it's going to be draconian and then some. And so yeah, I understand that, and I conceded earlier, each society is going to have its own set of morals, right? when I stated that, it was objective. That's me misspeaking, and I'm glad that, what was his name? Got the worker hat.
Antenna. Yeah.
Antenna. I'm glad he came in and made that correction.
Yeah, because
it
you
was
basically
relatively
believe that it is you basically believe that it is subjective. You don't believe that it's subjective. You don't believe that it's subjective.
I think there is commonalities absolutely among every society, but every society is going to have its own set of morals. Absolutely.
Yeah, fair enough. But then that's when we get into the conversation of when we're speaking about like when we're, legislating laws and, we're creating a society and giving rights to people and enforcing these rights and everything in X, Y, Z. When we're building a society and constructing it, when we're looking at things from a subjective lens, right? Then you would have to appeal to consensus. That's the only way consensus wins, meaning power wins. That's what wins, because think about it. If we are creating a society and from your worldview, everything is the morality, meaning what is good and what is bad, is based off of consensus. And I would say that most people, when they are creating laws, they're looking at it from either a utility standpoint, like what utility can we get from this? Is it going to drive our, is it going to increase our debt? Is it going to increase our the money that we make in the country? Is it going to increase our security? You can look at it from a utility perspective, but even those people, they still have a moral lens as well that they're looking at it through, which is like, well, if it's for a utility purpose, well, this would be good. We'll have X, Y, Z. Or if we're looking at it from a utility perspective, it will be bad because we wouldn't have X, Y, Z. So it still always gets back to a moral claim. Now, the thing is, since you know that it is your worldview is actually subjective morality, and when we're speaking about should transgender people transition and have the surgical procedure and cut off their wang, you know that you wouldn't do it and you wouldn't want your son to do it. So that's subjective. It would have to be you think that it's immoral based off of your own subjective worldview, not because, it's not necessary or it is necessary. It would have to just be that it's good or it's bad based off your own subjective worldview.
I don't agree that you have to ascribe morality to something. So I could literally pose any choice to you in the world and then tell you to ascribe some sort of moral implication from it. But that doesn't mean that it's actually applicable. In this case, I understand people coming from a religious standpoint have an obligation to do so. But
what I'm saying is that you're doing it even when you're unknowingly doing it anyway.
So
like you're unknowingly subscribing good and bad to most things. To most things you're doing it.
So based on whether I prefer to do it or not? Is that what you're saying?
Based off of not just whether you would prefer to do it. That's why I asked you if your son, because if it's outside of yourself, since it's outside of yourself, but it's someone that you're attached to, like your child, meaning that, well, it may not be your desire, like you said, but what if it's your son's desire? You still wouldn't even want him to do it if it's his desire. So that means that you are appealing to morality unknowingly.
Unknowingly. So why is the trans cousin that I have, why do I support their transition?
You supported their transition because you feel that it's your cousin and you feel that you have some sentimental value there or sentimental feelings towards your cousin's experience for them to feel good, but that's why you're appealing to it. It's still
why do you think it
because of meaning that, listen, it still doesn't change your worldview. Your worldview, objective morality is unchangeable, but in your worldview, you can actually change your morality because it is subjective. So the argument that I'm having with you, since now you know that your morality is actually subjective, why can't you just say that, well, yeah, I think that it's moral if my son does it. I think that is moral if my son doesn't do it, but I think that is immoral if he does do it. But I think that is moral if my cousin do it, because I don't really have that same attachment to my cousin as I do to my son. You can still, in your worldview, it still works, bro.
But that's the advantage of it, right? I can say, hey, for my family, I'm flexible enough to do that and make that decision.
I'll explain that subjective morality is the downfall. I'll explain how it's the downfall. Because if everyone is their own arbiter they're basically their own God, they're their arbiter of what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's bad, then that causes this is the reason why we're having this debate right now, because we don't appeal to the objective morality outside of our own brains. Think about it. If say just hypothetically, right, there was some evidence that God is real. Maybe not the Christian God or any, there is God. There's a God out there, right? There's someone that we got to report to at the end of all of this that's judging us. God is real. You know what I'm saying? Or not even that's going to judge us. We would have to say judge us because we're judging one another. Logically, we have to stay consistent with that. So let's just say that there is a God out there. You would have to say that, well, if people appeal to the thing outside of their own pleasures, their own preferences, their own wants, their own desires, then this would be what we would call unselfish. And we know that being unselfish is a good thing because you're being more empathetic to other people and everything like that too. You get what I'm saying? Which liberals like to say that they're the most empathetic, but really they're not. But anyways, that's a different discussion. But what I'm saying is when you appeal to something outside of yourself, if everyone is appealing to that thing outside of themselves, then everyone is on the same page. But if everyone appeals to the thing that's inside of them, then everyone is not on the same page. We're like all fighting and it's chaotic.
Right, so there's an advantage in conformity.
Yes. At the end of the day, conformity
at the end of the day, even for the hypothetical, yeah. Okay, it's always an advantage.
So that I just wanted to, so that this is presuming that what we're all appealing to is the correct thing, which has already been established.
Because in the hypothetical, I'm saying if it is that God, because if God is real, then then God sets the standard for morality. If God is real, he sets the standard for morality. He deems what is good and what is bad.
Sure, absolutely.
I accept that. He does, even if he's not real.
So if we all appeal to that, that means that then it would be less, the world would be less chaotic.
Well, absolutely. I mean, everybody would be similar. There's still, I don't know, hundreds of different Protestant religions, but we would be closer to one another's views on topics. Absolutely.
Yeah, it'd be less chaotic. So that's my argument to say that, well, yeah, objective morality is better than subjective morality. It's just better.
I think that, that's
even from a utility standpoint, if God wasn't real, let's just say that if God wasn't real, but we had this machine that made everybody believe that God is real, and everybody appealed to that, well, this is objectively good, and this is objectively wrong, then that would still be better. Now, this doesn't mean that people's nature wouldn't supersede their morality. Yeah, people would still do degenerate stuff because some people don't even care if it's good or bad. But at least it would be better than the system that we got now, or your system of subjective morality.
Okay, so I think it's superficially true. If everyone's on the same page, of course, then there's less confusion. Obviously, everyone's playing from the same sheet of music. I mean, if all of us were Catholic, there'd be less confusion, right? Or any other religion, or no religion. So I absolutely agree with that, right? But unfortunately, we live in a democratic society where people can use the consensus to get their will, and that changes and fluctuates with every other year, and that's just sort of where we're at. Unfortunately, we can't just force everyone into the same ideology and just take away, their autonomy and their ability to dissent.
But that was the point of public schools and universities, to go and make it so that everyone goes into one sort of mindset and one sort of philosophy, one sort of culture. That's why we go and promote capitalism, we promote individualism, and we promote individual exceptionalism. That is what has been pushed and has been propagated. And I would say now, where we're trying to deconstruct everything about society, it's creating more chaos because all the guardrails and all the guidelines that have kept society ordered is going away. And I think that is fundamentally a problem.
I agree. Like the nuclear family. Before, people used to, 70% of the American population, they had the mother and the father in the home, or it was even higher than that at some point. But now it's like, the single mother rate is crazy right now. And we know that the negative effects of single motherhood, we know that, we know what it does on children, what it does on society and everything else. So, but real quick, we got a lot of people in the chat right now. And Hunter, I want to go ahead and get your thoughts too, but don't be a ninja watcher, man. Support the channel. I've been debating commentary, bringing people up to debate them too. So commentary, thank you for not running and holding it down with your worldview and conceding certain points. I appreciate all of that. But let's get the likes up. Don't be a ninja watcher. Okay, so Hunter, I'm not sure what you want to speak about, but you can go ahead and ask your question to me.
I just wanted to ask Contemporary King. So do you think it's or Commentary King? Do you think it's like morally right for children to even be exposed to the choice of being able to take puberty blockers and be able to surgically alter their body?
No, absolutely not. That is where me and quite a few people on I guess my side of the fence disagree. I think that is a huge mistake, and I think that they're quite that amongst other popular policies get pushed as, I'm trying to think of a way to phrase it, as a solution so children do not commit suicide. If you're not familiar with that, that is the actual justification that's used for it, and I don't think there's enough evidence to support that, regardless of the narrative that may exist.
So you are not for spreading the idea to children?
Absolutely not.
So you're not for them having been like, so
But
then
real
why
quick,
even
Hunter,
expose them to that choice?
Yeah, good job, Hunter. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I don't think that should even be presented to them at all at any point in time.
But essentially, what I think Hunter is getting at, it is presented to him. If you are for the male to transition, it would be presented to the child, because essentially this thing dressing up as this man dressing up as a woman is gonna be presented to the child if he's out in the public, and you said that you're okay. You said that I am for men to cross dress and women to cross dress and all of this, even if they don't get the surgery. I'm against all of that. No cross dressing.
That's their choice.
Don't bring that into society. But
what
I'm saying is, if they are cross dressing and that's their choice as an adult, and if you are appealing to us, their choice to do it, so it should be allowed. Essentially, they do have the ability to influence kids because it would be out in the public.
Well, just because I take my kid to a circus doesn't mean that he wants to be a clown, right? So I think that there's a difference between inserting.
But it's wrong to expose them to that in the first place. Yeah, it's their choice and stuff like that, but that doesn't make it right.
Right. So having stuff inserted into, let's say, a sex ed program for young impressionable minds, I think is wrong. The fact that there's somebody at the checkout counter that's cross-dressing has no relevance in how my child grows up. They're going to walk right past them.
But what I'm saying is the stuff that you believe in, that's what comes with it, whether you like it or not.
No, that's not actually true. No. So
yeah,
let me ask this:
I think all that stuff, all that exposing. Do you have a child? No.
No. Do you have any close family members that are transitioning?
Nah, I know one person.
No.
That's about it.
So So I have both of those. So I can tell you from personal experience, and I've actually sat down and had this conversation with my son
Yep, that's
specifically.
anecdotal.
So, but I'm giving you an example. You're telling me what is the case and what is normal, but you actually don't have any. So let me ask you this then. If you don't want my anecdote, what empirically have you seen to show that that is sort of this pathway of children being purposely, I guess, influenced like this? That's exactly like how it happens.
Well,
Because
there's
I'm
multiple
serious.
pride parades where they yell, "We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children." I mean, there's several videos. I mean, you could type in a hashtag and find plenty of people trying to indoctrinate kids, and you know, and then like anyone who has a different opinion, they like shun them, and they're supposed to be like tolerant, but they're the complete opposite.
Hunter,
Okay, so
if I could add on, there is also a lot of NGOs, and if you look at the statistics of even young people going and coming out as transgender, it is artificially higher, and it seems like a social contagion as opposed to just like a steady small number that's going through time. So I would say like there is something that is a problem, along with the fact that there are a lot of teachers who go into universities that are primarily ideologically bent a certain way, where they would go and overcorrect. And there's a lot of cases that I have seen where they even have phrases like of using an egg as an example, saying, "I'm waiting to crack the egg," saying like trying to get that kid to transition, where they have phrases and terminology for it. So I would say that there is something that shows up there's some pressure for it.
So there's in both of you guys' examples, there's an adult with a child that's taking a child to an event or some type of area where this material is being taught to them or instructed to them in some way, shape, or form, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That's the difference between
it's being taught to them whether they like it or not, just from them being in a certain area of places, like when things are going on also.
Right.
That
So we're talking about pride. So hold on. So we're talking about pride events. We're talking about the library thing where they're playing dress up and all that other kind of stuff, right? We're talking about sex ed classes. We're talking about areas where children are the captive audience being brought there by adults specifically to receive instruction in this philosophy, right?
Also, it's in public.
But
art,
what I'm
like,
saying is, if what you believe comes with all that, then I don't want any part of it.
But that's the difference between what you guys are talking about and what I'm talking about, right? What I'm talking about is if you're going to go play dress up on the street corner, great, you go do that. Me and my son are gonna walk past you, right?
Doesn't make it right.
That's on them. They have if there's a grown man. So I give you a perfect example. Y'all may not be familiar. There's something called the red dress run.
How is that fair to other people?
So that I'm just hold on. Let me get out of full thought for a second. Let me get out of full thought.
Go ahead.
All right. So there's something called the red dress run in New Orleans. It happens every year. Okay, you can type in red dress run. It's a benefit done for charity. Okay, there's tons of men out there wearing red dresses. Just because they're out there doing that, and they've been doing that before all this hysteria, before all this push from the left for this, that, and the other, that's always been a New Orleans tradition, and it has nothing to do with anybody's sexuality. That is a very specific cultural practice in Louisiana.
Not
okay?
again.
So that is a LGBT charity. Like that's been like the case from the beginning. It's always been like a gay event.
Yeah, they're gay, man.
It's a charity event. That's not the same thing as like a pride. But you guys are trying to conflate two different things. Where there's a philosophy and stuff being pushed versus there's someone playing dress up. Those are not the same thing at all. That's what I'm trying to differentiate here.
Yeah, so like, I would say this. My argument is this. So influence creates thinking, thinking creates behavior. So there's always ideals and ideologies and things being pushed. And it's being pushed even if it's unknowing to you or not. Like if you go out in the public and you're presenting whatever you're presenting, it is influencing someone in a way. But then we would have to say, well, why are you presenting this? Well, the whys and all of these things matter. If you just keep on asking questions, it's going to get down to the reason of why. It's going to get down to an ideology of why those men are out there in New Orleans in a red dress. And the ideology is LGBTQ+. So it all gets back down to the ideology on what they're trying to influence the masses about. It's always like that, man.
So have y'all ever heard of the red dress run prior to me mentioning it?
I just reacted to it the other day.
Yeah.
Before y'all just heard about it in the news in the last week, had y'all heard anything about it?
I've heard about it. Yeah.
You actually looked into, but that's because this is what I'm sort of talking about. You can ascribe whatever you want to it, right? That it doesn't mean that that's what it is, because that's what you want to superimpose upon it. Well, that's great. That's cool.
No, but it is an
beliefs and actions don't
though.
exist in a vacuum, right? So that's like me saying, hey, Cooley, if you go put on a dress for 80 days, you'll turn into a woman because you're being influenced by that.
No one said told.
But that's what I'm saying.
But
There's something about influence, right?
You turn into a woman. We're not. My bad. So let's
mentally.
Let's go ahead and argue that. Let's keep that there. You just said that. Sure. Cooley. That's like if you put on a dress and then you did it for a few days, you actually turn into a woman. That's not the argument. No one's saying that this turns people literally into a woman. No, what we're saying is influence creates thinking and thinking creates behavior. So if you are influencing people based off how you dress, how you talk, how you walk, however it may be, whatever you are presenting, you are influencing people to a degree. Now, the thing is, you are speaking about you do not want kids to be influenced by this type of stuff. You are against that. And kids, well, their brains aren't as mature adults, right? They're they're in a vulnerable state of outside influences. They're very susceptible to outside influences. So this would essentially still be influencing kids because you are for the acceptance of transgenderism and drag queens walking out in the public. In my worldview, it's consistent. I'm not for the trans influencing kids. Since I'm not for it, I'm not for a man dressing up like a woman. I'm not.
It doesn't help better society.
You get what I'm saying? So it's all logically consistent.
Right. So I think that's where I think we disagree, because you can see tons of people walking around in a military uniform. That doesn't mean that you're going to go join the army, right? There's tons of influences.
That would definitely influence them. That would influence them.
Yeah. That was true. We wouldn't look. Veterans wouldn't be less than 1% of the population if it worked that way. There's of all the advertisements and stuff you see for the army, very few people end up joining or even attempting.
No. As you see that they do less advertisement now. Think about in the 90s. When I grew up in the 90s, or in the 2000s, bro, it was everywhere. They'll be on the side of the road trying to recruit. It'll be so many commercials about the military, about the Navy, the Army, the Marines. There'll be so many, we'll see so many ads. But currently today, I don't see them on the street no more. I don't really see the ads. It's like, where is it? And guess what? Since we don't see this influence, right, then we don't see as many people joining the military. So there is a correlation to influence and behavior. It just is. Because influence creates how you think and how you behave.
This whole culture is going to damage and reduce the population of America, and it's going to damage us from the inside out. Because we're literally trying to change genders, which means you use chemicals to alter yourself and you can't procreate or anything. So I just don't see any positives there.
Okay, well, I want to real quick. I want to have a more have this conversation a little bit more constructive and concise. So, real quick, Hunter, do you have any other arguments that you need to propose or no?
No.
Okay, cool, fair enough. I'll go ahead and put you backstage then, and then Even, right? You've been doing a good job pushing forth some arguments, so I'll go ahead and keep you up for a little while. And then we got Zigzag, you're up here, and you agree with Commentary King's worldview. So I kind of want to make it even so we're not just ganging up on commentary, so he has some backup. So Zigzag, you want to go ahead and engage on Commentary King's behalf? Go ahead.
Yes, but I do want to ask Commentary King a question first, because what I want to know is if he thinks this is consistent or not. Because in the beginning of the debate, he asked you if, like, how far would it have to go to be told by the government if the government was to tell you what to do? Like, at what point does that stop? And then when you asked him about should a person out themselves or basically end their life, he said that that's his stopping point. So if he's saying at what point does, like, like, let's say the government has the right to impose on what you're doing, but then you can't, if it's your body, your choice, why does it have to stop at the dead process too?
Because that goes against self-preservation. So just like with the government allows us to have freedom of speech, there's limitations on that. You can't go yell fire in an open theater, right? So just like with anything else, there has to be some sort of line. If they allow you to kill yourself, which is clearly you have to have your self-preservation turned off, that's not a procedure that you could possibly have undone, right? So I think that for me that's where my hard stopping point is.
Commentary, we can use that same logic and we can map it onto the cutting. Like we can say that the people that's cutting themselves, they're not really for self-preservation. They're cutting themselves, right?
Yeah.
So it's
and
the same thing.
You're putting death in, like, it's saying that it's a bad, like, for example, like, is there justified deaths? Like, for example, if the government puts people in the electric chair, for example, because they committed a crime, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a justified death. But then there's also euthanasia in certain countries where old people are in
Assisted
good
suicide,
mental states, or just assisted suicide. So it would say, like, I would say, what is the position actually? Is it a negative position that you're trying to leave your life, or is it in a negative state where you're depressed and you just hate life, you're poor, like Cooley mentioned before, and then that's why the person wants to leave? You don't think that it matters the position that the person is in as far as to why they want to out themselves?
No, I think that person may have a justifiable position, right? I think that definitely could be the case. But as far as arguments for like assisted suicide, because I know in Canada they have stuff like that, that's something I'm not entirely sold on. And I will honestly say that that's sort of when you get into some of the arguments about, I've heard some compelling ones, right? But I'm just not there yet personally. So there may be a bit of an inconsistency on my part.
But right, it's an inconsistent point. That's what I wanted.
I don't think anybody has 100% consistent point on any system that they have. I don't think that's literally impossible.
I agree, and that's why I was going to ask Cooley also. At what point, like Commentary King asked you in the beginning, at what point do we say that's enough where we allow the government to basically tell us what to do?
Okay, so you're saying at what point do we allow that we say enough? We stop telling the government.
No, the government tells us
telling us what to do. Okay, that's right. I had your argument. Okay, so at what point do we stop? At what point do we tell the government to stop telling us what to do? I would say that freedom of speech is one of them. Freedom of speech. I believe in freedom of speech. But the thing is, my moral ethics is I appeal to Christianity. So when we're speaking about the government, I truly think that the government would be ran better if it wasn't people that, put it like this, man. Currently, right now, and I want to answer your question directly because you're asking like at what point, but
right.
I mean, okay, let me just answer. I was going to go somewhere else, but I didn't want to go anywhere else. My bad. I've been streaming for almost 4 hours now.
Yeah, you're good, bro. You're good.
So to answer it directly, what point? I would say, freedom of speech. That's a point. We should go all the way down to freedom of speech. I think that I don't think that women should have the ability to abort their unborn children. I don't think that's it. So I draw the line there. I draw the line at even when it comes to the Second Amendment. You know what I mean? I draw that like we should all have the ability of freedom of speech and the ability to protect ourselves. So currently what we have in place right now is not the best because the liberals take it to the extreme, right? Like there's abortion. Literally 28% of Gen Z population was aborted. I'll repeat, 28% of Gen Z's population was aborted. So this is from the year of 1997, I believe, all the way to 2000 and what is it, 2024 or something like that. I can't remember the exact point of the Gen Z, but yeah, they aborted 28%, and that's because Commentary King is okay with women having bodily autonomy and choice to their body to do whatever they want. Meanwhile, that doesn't even make sense, is because it takes two to even for the woman to get pregnant. Now, there's exceptions, I believe, like grape, and if the mother's life is on the line, okay. Besides those two exceptions, have the baby.
Well, do you trust in the government like 100%?
No, it's not that I trust in the government. So this is what I was going to elaborate on, right?
I'm sorry to cut you off because I just think it's still going to be an inconsistent point because, like, if you trust in the government 100%, I can see why. But if you don't trust in the government 100%, what would be the purpose of even allowing them to tell us what to do from the get-go? Like, you trust your parents growing up, right? So that's why you listen to your parents 100% growing up, right? Even though some of their doctrines are kind of fucked up too because they pass like bad things down to you also. But that's why I ask if you trust in the government 100% to even take anything from them as far as in your best interest.
Yeah, so children are naive. This is why they trust in their parents, but a lot of them don't even trust in their parents. The parents still have to enforce certain things like don't touch, this is hot, that's bad, you will burn yourself. They have to place certain disciplinarian actions and for the child to listen to them and trust them and et cetera and stuff like that. So I don't think that was the best analogy to map on because we're not as naive as children. But so I would say this is not that I trust in the government, right? That's not what I am for, just being like blindfold to trust in the government. Essentially what I'm saying here under my worldview, if how I would want things to go, I would want that the government, the ideology, because if you think about it, right, the laws and the things that's like pushed forth is normally for two reasons. Normally the people in the government, they appeal to the consensus. So they appeal to, well, let me go ahead and pass this law so I can so people can vote for me again because I want to get reelected, right? Or if they don't appeal to that, then they appeal. Well, it's three things. So they appeal to the consensus, they appeal to where the money is, which really I think that's the same thing because they're appealing to get brung back in. So it's two things. They appeal to the consensus or they appeal to their own ideology, right? So if we have a government and the ideology, they're all secular and they all believe in nothing and they believe that morality is subjective and everyone can just go ahead and do what they want, then we wouldn't even have certain laws in place. So we already know that the government is kind of split. There are people that truly believe in objective morality and they appeal to God, right? To get their rights and wrongs and our do's and don'ts from. And then there's another side of people that have an ideology. Well, I think that it's okay for people to cut off their genitals if they feel like it. You get what I'm saying?
Right, I understand.
Which means that I can never fully trust in the government, to answer your question. So I'm not never fully trusting in the government. So the system that I would want is I would want that just like all the other secular people would want and all the other feminists would want. They want people in the government that has their own ideology. Oh, if you share my ideology, I want you in office. Well, I have an ideology and I want people in office that share my ideology. So I guess that answers the question.
So we should become a theocracy?
Oh, I'm okay. Listen, I'm 100% okay with that. If everyone believes in Jesus Christ and they appeal to Christianity and they're in the government, I am not against that at all.
Well, right now the government is influenced by religion.
But
so as far as like government being corrupt, they're still influenced by religion though.
Yeah, they're influenced by religion, but they're also influenced by the non-religious as well.
And
well, they're more influenced by religion though.
Yes.
Like the entire structure.
That they're more, you would have to prove that. Or you mean like from?
Okay, we can have a.
You mean like from, how the people that discovered America and how it was brought about, they were religious. Like most of them was either Catholics or some type of Christian belief.
Right. Was religion pushed on people at that point in time? Like in history, was it pushed on people, or did people have
What point
experiences
in
that
time are you
led
speaking
them
about?
to believe? Just basically back in time. I don't have an exact time. We can actually come back to that if we have to. But just back in time, I don't have the answer to that. That's why I don't have the answer to that. I don't know.
Yeah, there was many times. Yeah.
I would say like most of the people, once they were converted, the people were very fanatical, so much so that the church had to go and organize their belief into proper ways, because without proper authority, you get things like local superstitions that kind of get out of control, where you think that an ugly person is a witch, so the Catholic priest needs to go and let them know that such things don't exist, and that they need to follow the dogma of the church. So I will say that throughout time, the only issue or when it comes to people converting, it's converting from one religion to the other. And I'd say it's only till rather recently, with like the Soviet Union and kind of like industrialization, where they tried to push no belief and like state atheism on people. And that's the only time where they got large swaths of the population to become non-religious. But when that happened, things like personality cults and the believing that communism will lead to the utopia in itself became a sort of religious idea. So I don't think that you can separate like people from religion and from like religion from government. It's just figuring out the best way of managing like the religious authority.
I think there should be a balance. I don't think that the entire, because we could look at the Vatican and Saudi Arabia as perfect examples of modern day theocracies, and they have some glaring issues with them, right? Because I, as a non-believer, want to respect people's right to religion. I don't agree with Islam. I would much rather have Christians in the office, in the White House, to be honest with you. But, I think that converting to, from what we have now, Democratic Republic, to a theocracy would not be the right answer. I think if people want to elect folks with their values, then go for it. Yes, even as a non-believer, I absolutely believe that. And that's how we should work. But I won't go as far. I think that's, for me, that's an extreme, just like for the folks on the left who want to usher in socialism. I think that's just no. Let's not do that.
The religion.
I don't think that it's an extreme, because if we see think about what you currently are in acceptance of and intolerance of, which is for men that want to transition, you are for them to cut off their genitals because they feel like it, basically. So think about where that came from. Well, that didn't come from anything that was religious. That came from people believing that, morality is subjective. It makes
you don't think that the people who do that are do you not think that they're religious?
Most of the time they aren't.
Most of the time they aren't.
I don't know how many trans folks y'all know, but quite a few of them are.
Yeah, no, but they're not really religious, because if I'm speaking with the religion that I know, so they're not Christian. They're not really Christian. Like, say if you think about it, there's LGBTQ flags in church. Do I think that those people that's going to that Christian church are actually Christian? No, I don't think they're actually Christian. I think that they're demonic. That's what I do think. So I'm saying that if everyone followed the theocracy of Christianity, but followed it to the T, right? Followed it to the T, then that would be good, because there's not anything bad about it. That's a different debate that we would have to have if you think there's something.
I mean, the Crusades were pretty bad, but I mean, there's bad things that can happen in any system.
Behind the Crusades, though.
That's what I was thinking about. Actually, I was thinking about the Crusades. I just couldn't think. I couldn't get it out.
Tons of atrocities that have happened at the hands of Christians, and just as there's plenty of stuff that's happened at the hands of atheists.
We would say that they didn't follow it, though.
But saying more people died doesn't absolve the situation.
died
No, no, no.
in the Spanish Inquisition.
That's a straw man to my argument. That's a straw man to my argument is if people actually follow Jesus Christ and adhere to the laws of Jesus Christ, I don't think anyone would object to that. Even atheists would be like, that was a pretty good man. Can't really object to that. But it's the thing that people would say that they follow, but don't actually follow. That's my argument.
Well, sure. I know I've talked to tons of Christians through the years, and all of them think that they have the real version. Everybody else is fake. I understand that. I take people on their word when it comes to that. No one has the magical spirit meter to say who's real and who's not. For me, I like the Constitution. I like the fact that we have a democracy or a democratic republic, because people get to choose what religion they want. Like if we have a theocracy, then people really won't have the right to do that. And so, as a non-believer, I want to make sure that the other folks who live in this country have that freedom of religion. So that's my biggest argument against trying to change the foundation of our country.
Commentary, King. I will say, like in the beginning of the country, it wasn't really freedom for all religions. Like for example, most states didn't allow in Catholics. They didn't.
Or Quakers.
Yep. So it's all like the local state religions and each state had their own state religion during the time. It's just there couldn't be a federal religion that could like force all the states to go and be, say.
Hey, seeing Antenna, he was just here. Antenna, come back up if you want to come up.
Yeah, I'm well aware. Each little faction had their own little state, especially in the first 13 colonies. But what you clearly saw were faction wars that would then strike out, especially against the Quakers. And so, in order to ensure that everybody has their right to practice and they're not being persecuted, I think it's best that we not force the entire, system of government under one religious banner.
I don't know about that. Or I think that religion is like a great force to go and unify people. But if people have different religions, it can be one of the worst things that goes and divides a nation. Like if you look at the former Yugoslavia, they had Catholics, they had Orthodox Christians, then they had Muslims. If you look at the difference between a Croatian, a Serbian, and a Bosnian, and you look at them and you test their genetics, test their culture primarily, they're pretty much all the same. The only difference that kind of broke apart that nation was the sense that of the Orthodox Church, like the Orthodox Church with the Serbs, the Croatian Catholic Church, and then the Bosnian Muslims. That's kind of like what led to its downfall. And if you look at the United States, if we allow every single religion, even religions that go against each other, then that would just lead to overall destruction. I think the only reason the United States has done so well is because we've been majority Christian, and in that Christianity, it's been primarily Protestant, and that's kept most Americans unified in terms of culture and in terms of like keeping a sense of camaraderie and shared identity. So I think that breaking that away would just cause.
I think that's painting American Christianity with a large brush. The Southern Baptists differ greatly from their Christian compatriots to the North. I think that if we're going to attribute the success to America and its ability to sort of manage all these disparate groups, it's because all of us have come to a consensus after generations of fighting and escaping from a nation with religious persecution that then followed us to the 13 colonies, that then we finally learned, hey, maybe we should give each other enough space to kind of do what we do and not impede upon it.
You're talking about separation of church and state.
Yeah, I think it's pretty important because it helps maintain that balance. That
yeah, but we don't actually like live in a secular nation, meaning that like it's still legal for each state to practice to have religion. I think the separation of church and state was so you can have different religions. I do believe that's what it was.
Well, yeah. So there's no state religion, but like as far as the federal government, that's what I'm talking about.
Level religion. Yeah, but I don't think that it. So I don't think that it ever really was. Like even when states was being formed, there was different sectors as far as their religious beliefs. Even when it came to Christianity, it was always like that. So I don't think that America was ever secular, and I don't think that it. I think like currently now, like. So I mean, yeah, but real quick, let's engage more people in a topic and move the conversation forward. We got
here.
Zigzag, we got Antenna here. Anyone had a question?
Yeah,
this topic or anything else?
I do, because we went into religion, but what I wanted to ask you, Cooley, because you said it should be illegal to whatever commentary's point was when they said like they have a choice, but you said it should be illegal. Can you tell me why it should be illegal? If somebody wanted to do an alteration to their body.
Okay, you want to know why it should be illegal if if a man wanted to transition to a woman, to cut off his wang?
I guess that would be an example, yeah.
Yeah, I would say the same reason. Well, one, I think that it's a mental illness. So I don't think that we should allow people to, just like, offing yourself, self-deletion. So under my worldview, that it would be self-deletion is not the same. Of course, one is he's still going to be alive. The other one is actually going to be unalive. But in my worldview, they're both immoral.
They're both immoral.
They're both bad. It's not good to do. And the reason why it's not good is because God says so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's always going to fundamentally come down to a religious debate. So that's what I was trying to, when I said they're both immoral, I was trying to say the morals are going to come from religion, and then we would have to just go back into that topic.
Yeah, I could even make a secular argument with this. I don't have to say that God says it's bad. I was just messing with you because we had many debates before. But I mean, there's many arguments I can say why it's not good to do is because one, obviously they are committing self-harm. They are self-harming themselves. Just like I think that cutting your wrist, that's a mental illness. If you want to cut off your penis, that is a mental illness. If you want to self-delete, it's a mental illness. I think that you need help. This is why I think that it's illegal to do, because you actually need help.
But why would that matter to you though, individually, if they're trying to hurt themselves? You said you're not attached to the person as much as it is your family member.
For sure. So if I am, if I wouldn't do that myself, and I wouldn't want my child, the difference between me and Commentary King, I would stay consistent between all. So I can see that it's immoral. I wouldn't want to do it to myself. I wouldn't want to self-harm. And if I ever felt like I wanted to self-harm, I know I'm not in my right state of mind. So I wouldn't want my child to self-harm. And if he ever wanted to self-harm, because I know that he wouldn't be in his right state of mind to cut himself or to self-delete or to cut off his penis. You just wouldn't be in your right state of mind on wanting to self-delete or commit self-mutilation, right? So therefore, I would extend that same morality out to others because I have empathy, which means that I know that if someone does want to do that thing, I know that they're not in the best mental state. So they actually need help so they can get out of that mental state of wanting to self-harm.
Right. But what if...
Zigzag.
Go ahead.
I would just quickly say, to go and allow someone to self-harm, it leads them down like the further... mental damage, where it's not that much of a jump if you're willing to harm yourself to willing to harm others, because harming yourself is a major thing, because most people have an innate sense of self-preservation. So if you break that mentally, then like it's not that much of a jump if they're willing to break the societal conditions and the societal sense of unity of not wanting to go and hurt others.
Well, I get that, but that's why I asked Cooley, why would it matter to him individually what another person is doing if it's harming themselves?
Yeah, I just answered it.
Right, that's what I was trying to clarify to Evan. But now here's the thing, though. But so you answered it from that perspective. But if somebody rubs you the wrong way, would you want to hurt them or no?
If someone rubbed me the wrong way, what do you mean? Pause.
Like,
no diddy,
suppose
man.
it's some well rub, man, not like that, man. I'm talking about like if somebody came across and started becoming disrespectful to you, you're gonna want to hurt. Like suppose that they just you weren't aware, but they had a mental disorder, but they thought they were like big and bad. They had this delusion that they were just, you know, a gangster, let's say, and they came across you, and
They want
then
to physically
they
harm
pissed
me?
you off. They're not physically harming you. They just pissed you off because they're just
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
insult you and shit.
No, nothing. Okay.
Would you want to hurt them back? Would you want to hurt them?
If it's not physical, then I would still make jokes back to him, like "nigga, you ugly." Like, what you mean? But just be.
Well, the reason I ask this, for example, like you've challenged people to fight on stream, which is not physical. Somebody got you angry, and you challenged them to come to you, and you wanted them to fight with you. That's you wanting to harm somebody else.
No. I'll tell you what. If you actually watch the streams and the ones that went viral, the one dude he said you are a B, and he was threatening me. He was threatening me like, I'll slap you. And I said, well, if you feel that way, we don't have to do this on stream. We can have this debate in person. You get what I'm saying? So that's not.
I get you. I get you, but still, it's just words over the internet. Like, what would it matter? That's what I'm saying. You still have the mentality to want to hurt. If it's going to be where you're caring about somebody else hurting themselves, you would still be able to hurt somebody else.
It'd be content, meaning that I would go ahead and make it'd be on YouTube. So
I understand that, but I get it. And I understand. I don't want you to think I understand you. You know what I'm saying? I probably would have done the same thing. But my point is that they hurt your ego, and you reacted where you wanted to. You invited them to fight because you wanted to hurt them.
No, it was more so for content purposes and to put the person in their place. So put the person in their place, meaning that when we were having a debate about masculinity, essentially, that's what it was about. And this dude was a male feminist, and he was worshiping God and thought that the black woman was God. So obviously we're having this discussion about masculinity. So I'm like, well, let's put this to the test. Right. One, you threatened me anyway, but I'll go ahead and we could go ahead and do this debate in person, and then afterwards box, and I could get some content of it. But also I can put you in your place, because not only can I dismantle your argument, but I can dismantle you physically.
Got it. So you found it an opportunity to make content.
But other reasons. What's your argument?
But here's my argument, because before you talked about doctors are opportunistic, and they may find an opportunity to make money, so they'll go and perform a surgery that they know is not going to be beneficial for that individual. So same thing with lawyers. There's lawyers who will find an opportunity to make money and defend the criminal that they know committed the crime, but they'll still defend them and find a loophole. I'm making my argument right now. What's that?
I said, I think you already made your argument, but go ahead. You can finish.
Yeah, no, I'll let you go.
I think I get it. So essentially you're saying that, and I'm just going to still in your position. Essentially you're saying that, well, Cooley, you said that, when it comes down to the physical altercation, you are for the physical altercation for content purposes, but for other situations, you're not for self-mutilization, which you're conflating that's a physical situation as well. That's what you're. No. Okay.
I only brought that up because I asked you originally, why would you care if somebody else is doing something that's going to harm them? You know what I'm saying? I'm just testing the logic here. I'm not saying I'm in the position for it or not. But my question to you was, why would you care if somebody else is doing something that's going to harm them? Where in cases where it would come to challenge your ego, you would hurt somebody else. If say the guy did decide to fly out to you and wanted to fight you, you're going to fight him and you're going to try to hurt him. But the invite was originally done by you, right? So now, and let me finish this point. You also made the point before where you said that there's opportunistic doctors that for the dollar, they would actually perform the surgery on these people. And also, just like I made the example, lawyers will actually defend certain criminals knowing that they still the criminal, but for the interest of making bank and improving their credibility, they'll defend that criminal and find a way to get them out using the legal system. That's also a corrupt way of doing things.
Yeah, so one is all about how I look at it morally. So one, I will look at it is morally justifiable for the man that threatened me for us to have a tussle. It's not like I'm going to kill him. I'm all for men fighting amongst one another. I don't think that
I am too. But you could throw a bad punch and hurt them badly though.
Well, let me finish my argument.
Yeah,
right? So I'm all for one. I think is immoral. The other one I think is moral. So the thing is, immoral is a man just because how he feels like a woman and he wants to transition to a woman and he wants to cut off his dick. Well, I think that that's immoral. I think that he needs help. He has a mental issue. In this situation where a man threatens me live on stream and I'm like, okay, well, and we're speaking about masculinity. Well, let me see how masculine you are. Come out here and make that same threat to my face. Right. But he's threatening on stream not to off me, not to delete me. He's saying that to like fight me. So I'm extending that offer to him like, no, we can go ahead and get busy. We can go ahead and tussle. Like, what's good? So I don't think anything is morally wrong with that of two men fighting out their disagreement.
I'm not saying I'm against that either. I just wanted to test
so what's your argument?
your logic on that. That's what I was doing. I was testing the logic on. You made a point, and it's just like debates, bro. If you figured you were wrong in a debate, would you have you lost the debate, or in the interest of truth, or would you do it to protect your ego and try to find a way? So, because everybody could be very good debaters as well. Even though you may lose an argument, you made this example one time too. You said somebody may not be able to express themselves properly, but the fact that the other person is a good debater, even though their position may not be true, they can still win the debate. You didn't say that at one point?
That is true. Yeah, that is true.
Okay. So then that's my point. I'm making all these arguments around that same topic. I'm just giving you different examples.
Okay. Well, okay, my bad. That just didn't correlate to the argument that me and Commentary King was having. I was just trying to find where's the correlation, but now you're saying that, well, it's a different correlation. You're making a correlation to, well, Cooley, were you just trying to win that debate because essentially you felt that you lost it, so you're like, okay, let's fight, or you get what I'm saying? So it still doesn't map on properly. My bad, bro.
I was very clear, bro. I
has an argument here. I don't.
There's two other guys. The Commentary King. Did you understand what I said or no?
Do you understand the argument? I don't get it.
I think I see what you said. If you're trying to be consistent, are you being empathetic in this instance, as you are with your argument about trans folks? Is that what you're trying to say, Zigzag?
Well, the reason I brought it up is originally the question was, he said, and I asked him about why should it be illegal, or why would he care about somebody else doing something that's going to hurt themselves? Why would that matter to him individually, personally? You know what I'm saying? So that's where this whole entire. Good.
And I think his response was, hey, I'm being empathetic. I'm trying to follow my worldview, and that that is morally wrong, regardless of how I personally feel. It's not going to be subjective. I think that's Cooley's position on that. And that he's also saying, hey, I'm also empathetic. Hey, you're trying to hurt yourself. I don't want you to do that. I'm going to advocate against it. And it sounds like what you're saying is that, well, if you are actually empathetic and whatnot, and you are looking out for folks, and you are concerned with opportunists and stuff like that, you didn't seem like that in this one instance. That's what it sounds like to me. But there's
being empathetic. Listen, this is empathy. Never turning down a fade. That's empathy. Obviously, the person wants to have a fade with me. Think about this. The person want to scrap with me. So this empathy is having the ability to understand how the other person feels. So me accepting that fade is empathetic.
I guess I've did some that thing in the army, man. Like I get it. Like I've said some rough stuff, and I fought with some dudes when I was.
I get it too, man.
But,
I really do.
But I said I'm like this is what I'm about now. This is this right here.
Hey, listen,
but thank you, gentlemen, for the chat.
Sure.
Y'all can catch me on Twitch. You mind if I plug my Twitch, Cooley?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Plug your stuff, bro.
Just type in the Commentary King on Twitch, and I'm live most of the week. We're usually talking about just the silly dating shows and stuff like that. So, but if y'all feel I'm saying some crazy, silly stuff, hey, come challenge me in the chat. Hey, I'm all for it. So I appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen, all. I appreciate it. I'll be back later. All right.
Peace. See you. All right, fellas. And I'm gonna wind down. I've been streaming for like 4 hours, but appreciate the spirited conversation. Zigzag.
Yeah.
Always good having you up.
I appreciate it.
Even always good having you up too, man. Other than that, man, have a blessed one, brothers. Any last things I want to say? Anything you want to shout out? Anybody? No.
Cooley, did you get vaccinated?
Nah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm.
You know, there's a reason why I asked you that, right?
Pure.
I want to know how
blood.
much you trust your government, bro.
I'm pure blood.
Yeah, so am
All
I.
right, bro.
But that's good.
Have a
That's
good
good.
one, bro.
I'll see you later, bro. Thank you.
Yep. Peace. Cooley, did you get vaccinated? Nah, man, I didn't get vaccinated. What? All right. Let's get to the chats real quick. We got a few of them that came up. Let's see here. We got Perry Unlikely sends him $5. Subjective morality is the reason people say this is my truth instead of the truth. It removes accountability. Yeah, in a lot of cases, it does remove accountability. So yeah, I think that's a good point. Let's get to the rest of the chats here. 1 second. What we got? Mr. Scorpio Johnson sends him $5. I'm from NOLA, and that red dress run has always been acknowledged as a gay event. They literally meet up at the gay end of Bourbon. Yeah, bro, it's gay. Yeah, I'm not sure what Commentary King, the point he was trying to make on that. But yeah, or I think it was someone else in here that was trying to make a point. But yeah, it's gay, bro. Let's see here what other chats we got. Appreciate everyone that's tuning in and supporting. Okay, we got humans. We got I'm a hunter. Sends him $5. Appreciate the support. Humans are highly stimulated by visual things. So no matter what you wear in public, it will perceived by everybody. It will be perceived by everybody. The question is whether it's in a position or a negative way. Drag should not be public. Yeah, and that's the thing. The people that are okay with drag, then they don't really think that it's a negative thing, which comes back down to morality, which I kept trying to let Commentary King know that he's essentially making a moral argument. Like all of this comes down to morality. And I think one of the reasons, I hope that he watched his back and he finds a way to reconcile how, since now he knows that he actually believes in subjective morality and everybody, you know, has their own subjective view on what they think is good or bad. And that's how it should be. And he actually thinks that people should believe that way. Then I think he can come to the conclusion how, you know, we can just make some stupid laws and the medical industry could say, well, yeah, you know, this is good. You can always find some weird, stat or reason to do something degenerate. You can always find some reason to do something degenerate, right? This is why when you appeal to objective morality, you just don't appeal to your own thoughts. Then it's like, well, okay, I'm not doing things for my own pleasure. I'm not seeking things, you know, for my own wants and my own desires and stuff like that. I'm looking at things more, the good in things objectively and the bad in things, I'm looking at it objectively. Even though, think about this. If you believe in subjective morality, well, I earned my $1 million. Let's say if someone says, well, I earned my $1 million by selling drugs and a lot of people died, but I still earned my money. So my money is still good money, right? So then it's like, well, I earned my money this way and it killed a lot of people. Let's just say that then it would be okay for someone else to earn their money away where it would kill people as well. Because if it's your subjective morality, then you would have to think that everyone else has their own subjective morality too. They're their own arbiter of morality. They create what's good and what's bad in their mind, which then they act that out. So no matter how, since it's okay for them to create good and bad in their mind, it has to be okay for them to enact out whatever they created in their mind. Do you get what I'm saying? That's the logical entailment, right? So at the end of the day, subjective morality is just stupid. It's dumb. It causes more chaos and more confusion. And if anyone wants to have that debate, like Antenna, he went ahead and left. He says that he doesn't believe morality is objective or subjective. Go, okay. Well, I would love to hear your justification for that. Because I do feel that I would catch you in many contradictions. Okay. I think that was the last super chat. Let me see. That was the last super chat. All right, chat. Like the podcast before you go, I gave y'all like a 4-hour stream. So with that being said, the next podcast is going to be on Tuesday. We will be reacting to content, and we'll have it open for open panel debate night as well. What I'm going to do for the next stream, I need to make sure I get through some of my reactions. I may have to dedicate one stream to just reactions, which I do sometimes anyway. But there's a lot of things that we need to react to that the members want to hear and that we need to get through. We had someone just join King Simba. Let's just see if he want to debate. You here to debate?
No, big dog. I just want to say I appreciate everything you say, man. You saying some real shit, man. Yeah, I appreciate everything. I was a dude. Remember that crazy ass white girl and her daddy? Remember last week with the white girl and the daddy? What the fuck was her name? Anyway, remember there was some weird shit. The dad was a pedo, with the mustache. Yeah. The father's white girl. Yeah, I was a dude that stopped wanting to smash her. I was joking.
Oh, him.
I was trolling. I was trolling, man. I was like, I ain't fuck with that scallywag bitch. She tripping. You know what I'm saying?
And the crazy thing is, she thought that you would want more out of you. She thought that you wanted more out of her than just smashing. And I told her, if he wants anything from you, it would just be smashing. That's what he said.
That's it. I don't want that scallywag. Yeah, that's it. Just bitch.
Didn't understand that, man. It was crazy.
Slow. Well, I'm at work though. I just want to say I appreciate everything you do. I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna jump back and be one of your member things. You know what I'm saying, but I appreciate everything you say. You're saying real shit. All right, man. All right.
Thank you for supporting, man. Have a blessed one.
You too, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Okay. So next stream is going to be this Tuesday at what we're going to do. Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be the next time I go live. Today is Sunday. And then we're doing Tuesday and Thursday for the next live streams. And it's going to be open panel debates and reactions. So quick news for all the people that's tuning in, because all the people that's still watching right now, you are the day ones. So quick thing. I got so many one-on-one debates that I'm going to be scheduling with myself, with other people as well on a YouTube channel. So we're going to take a step back from the open panel debates, and we're going to do more pre-planned, organized one-on-one debates. And I know you guys like that a little bit more anyway, because therefore everyone gets to actually plan out their argument. And, you know me, I wash people up easily when it's like that. I wash people on even open panel debate nights, but of course it takes a little bit longer to push forth the argument than usual, rather than exactly the topic that you're going to be arguing. But so Tuesday and Thursday are the next live streams, open panel debate and reactions. But going into next week and the weeks to come, it's going to be less open panel and it's going to be more planned, scheduled one-on-one debates, me versus someone, or I'll be hosting a 1v1, a 1v1 on my channel. Once again, of course, you'll see Andrew Wilson back. You'll see some new people as well on the channel. It's going to be pretty dope. But anyways, that's all I got in store for y'all. The full panel girl show, the next show is next Friday. So the next full panel dating and relationship show that I do, where I bring up 6 to 12 girls, that's going to be next week on Friday. So stay tuned to that show, man. Y'all going to like it. Without further ado, this podcast is No Fugazee, and I'm out.
No Fugazee. Fugazee.
And y'all see the suit too, man. Listen, new studio, new podcast by the spirit, not by the letter. Bro, we can go verse for verse all day long. Doing new things. Men are okay with understanding the reality that we are in competition with one another. But you ladies think that you're special. We are in comfort. Men are men of their word. So here's my word. I'll fly you out here. We can do it in person. And after that, we could box. I'm about my business. So remember, I said, when I ask you these questions, I will dismantle your entire